Okay, I'm live. Let me get in here with y'all. I'm gonna fix that screensaver later because um hey Pink, hey Angela. I like our small intimate crowd because of course, I don't have to have a big crowd. I just want the people that's real over here, the ones that relate to me breaking on this R. Kelly's case. So we're gonna go over a few things. The first thing I'm gonna go over is a letter that Steve Greenberg sent. Hey, K Nicole. Hey, Minecraft. A letter that Steve Greenberg wrote to the judge in addition to what he already wrote in terms of the reply for the motion, his response. And hold on, let me put my mic in front of me. Okay. So I'm going to go over that first. I'm going to go over the indictment for you guys who have not heard the indictment, since no one's actually covering the indictment. I decided to get the indictment and break it down for us so we can have a better understanding at what they're charging R. Kelly with, or at least the accusations that he's being charged with. Hey, Sheila. Also, I'm going to give you guys my personal opinion on the rat who cut up a Versace jacket yesterday that was worth $4,000. So I'm going to go off screen so I can read to you guys the letter that Steve Greenberg gave to Judge Anley. And then from there, we'll just go into the next commentary. I'll take questions and answers. If anybody wants to call in, you guys are able to do so at the basic number that I always have, which is 404-618-2442. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Hey, Edward. Hey, Sheila. So like I said, I can't see the comments when I move the screen over to the next page, but I will be here and I can see you guys when I come back. So let me start reading, and I don't have to squint because it's on my computer and I can blow it up really, really big. So here we go. All right, it goes as follows. This was an electronic filing that's dated May the 8th to Honorable Ann M. Donnelly. This is the United States versus Robert Sylvester Kelly, case number 19286 S1 AMD. Dear Judge Donnelly, we respectfully submit this letter as an additional reply in support of the most recent request for release from pretrial detention. We are submitting this additional reply solely and exclusively on the issue of obstruction. The second superseding indictment contains 6 alleged victims, all referred to as Jane Doe. While the number of Jane Does has remained consistent at 6, at least one individual was dropped from the initial indictment and one added. The defense has previously requested that each of them be identified. This court denied that request with respect to Jane Doe's 2 and 3, meaning to this date, their identities remain unknown to the defense. Docket 38. The government has identified a picture of Jane Doe number 4 and provided no further information. To date, predicated solely upon the picture, the defense has been unable to identify who that individual is. This means that the defense and Mr. Kelly do not know the identity of 3 of the 6 Jane Does. Jane Doe number 1 appears to be a deceased individual. The only other individual who has spoken or been identified regarding the allegation has been actively talking about his appearances before the federal grand jury on social media. He has never suggested that anyone has reached out to him on behalf of Mr. Kelly, and no one has. Jane Doe number 5 is Mr. Kelly's former girlfriend, who contrary to what typically takes place between victims, witnesses, and the accused, was allowed unfettered access to Mr. Kelly, as previously noted in our reply and earlier pleadings, has not made any suggestions that he obstructed, but to the point for this additional filing, it would be impossible for Mr. Kelly to engage in any obstruction behavior regarding this individual. She has, since leaving Mr. Kelly, created an active for profit social media presence, requesting individuals to subscribe to her Instagram and YouTube channels, where she regularly speaks of how awful he was. Yesterday on her channel, she titled, they blanked it out, Found out, and then they put her link in the chat, and then they blank some more stuff out. At the approximate 42-minute mark, she takes a Versace winter coat that she stole from Mr. Kelly and cuts it up, showering herself in the feather fillings. Excerpt here. They gave another link, and then they blanked out the link. It is clear from the audio that this was a premeditated stunt. Excuse me, premeditated stunt to gain viewers. With her mother in the background commenting that they had discussed using a knife and how that would have been much easier than using scissors. The rest of the video, as well as her others, has this Jane Doe talking extensively about her relationship with Mr. Kelly and her status as a victim. She is using her status to promote her brand. Watching all of this is too obvious that she long ago rejected any allegations to Mr. Kelly, could not be influenced by him or others acting on his behalf, and that any idea of a fear of obstruction here is simply fantasy. The remaining J. Doe is number 5, who is represented by counsel in relation to this case as well as related civil suit. She filed. Mr. Kelly is similarly represented in the civil suit. She too has active social media presence, much of which can be found by searching the Twitter hashtag, and they blanked out her name. Like Jane Doe number 5, she has created a vast inventory of negative media regarding Mr. Kelly, like with Jane Doe number 5. Any idea that there is a fear of obstruction here is simply fantasy. To the extent this court has previously been led to believe that there may be a risk of obstruction, the fact is that there is no one related to this case who would be the slightest bit receptive to any overture from the Kelly camp. There is no risk. We request the court accept this additional filing and respectfully submitted by Steve Greenberg as well as his lawyer, Michael Leonard, on behalf of R. Kelly. So what I would like to do is just go back up a notch because I read something that kind of stood out. And I want to get back to what it was. Okay, so the defense has previously required that each of them be identified. The court denied. Okay, so wait. Okay, yeah, it had to be up in this line. The second superseding indictment contains 6 alleged victims, all referred to as Jane Doe. While the number of Jane Doe has remained consistent at 6, at least one individual dropped from the initial indictment and one added. The defense has previously requested that each of them be identified. This court denied that request. With respect to Jane Doe's 2 and 3, meaning to this date, their identities remain unknown to the defense. Document number 38, the government has identified a picture of Jane Doe, number 4, and provided no further information. Today, predicted solely upon the picture, the defense has been unable to identify who that individual is. That means that the defense and Mr. Kelly do not know this identity of 3 of the 6 Jane Does. Jane Doe number 1 appears to be deceased individual. The other individuals who has spoken or been identified regarding that allegation has been actively talking about his appearance before the federal grand jury on social media. So there's somebody out here who's discussing this, who went to the grand jury. So I'm trying to understand who this person is. So it says Jane Doe number 1 appears to be deceased, which we know that's Aaliyah. The only other individual who has spoken or been identified regarding that allegation has been actively talking about his appearance before the federal grand jury on social media. He has never suggested that anyone has reached out to him on behalf of Mr. Kelly. So there's somebody out here who has reached out, that anyone has reached out to him on behalf of Mr. Kelly, and no one has. So who is this person that they're talking about? And I'm going to come back in the chat to answer some of you guys' questions. Hey, everybody. Hey, Stand Up. Hey, Miss T. Hey, K Baby. Hey, D Slade. I love it when I see my originals here because that's what's up. So again, I'm trying to figure out who this other person is, because we know who Jane Doe number 5 is, but then they're saying that there's another Jane Doe that's out here actively speaking outside of the Jane Doe number 5. So who is the other person that has a social media that's out here speaking, who already spoke to the grand jury? I'm kind of curious as to who that person can be. And if you guys have any suggestions, or if you guys can speculate, I would love to read that in the chat. So moving forward to our next topic after I give you guys a few seconds because I know there's a delay. So I want to make sure that you guys answer. Who do you guys speculate? Okay, I see who you guys are saying. Yo yo, thank you, Yo Yo Brown. Okay, cool. Yeah, I was thinking that too, Edward too. So because it said like it's a he. So I get Yo Yo, and then I get where you coming from as well, Edward, because they said a he who has spoken out before the grand jury, the federal grand jury, and is not doing anything on Mr. Kelly's behalf, and they said it as it's a him. So if it's a him, I would really want to go leaning forward Edward's comment. And I just don't want to say the names because, I don't want to have any issues with calling out those type of names. But yeah, you guys. So sounds like it could potentially be the D name or the J name. So it might be, that's what I'm saying, because I'm telling you what I'm looking at, and I wish I could post it on the screen. So as soon as we get to 1,000, I'll be able to post things on the screen for you guys to be able to view as well. So the channel is definitely growing. I really do appreciate you guys for taking the time out to come over here to my backup channel. I'm just trying to stay away from my original channels for now, and I will probably resume back to Team Next one day next week, just because I just want to, clear the air a little bit, let some smoke clear. The L may be, I don't know, Pink. I don't know. So this is very interesting. I'm definitely going to be reading the indictment to you guys. For those of you guys who haven't heard the newest indictment that came down, we know it's Jane Doe number 5, but I want to read it to you guys so we can have a better understanding at what they're charging him with and what these accusations that she have put upon him, upon R. Kelly or Robert Sylvester Kelly. I want to know more because, the more we know, the more we can dissect and, poke holes into these lies that has been put out here. Also, hey, Mrs. Connor. Hey, Kimberly Nicole. I really want to get that better understanding. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert over to the audio. I'm not going to post her picture up here, but I'm going to listen in a little bit because there's some points that I wanted to point out when it comes to the rat and, the lies that she was telling. So I'm going to have to break it down in increments just so I can avoid any type of copywritten or copyrights. I don't want that to happen over here. So I'm going to go with the first one. And then because she was just like really off the chain. So, I want to go into this with you guys. And how did you guys think of, I'll get into the questions after because there's a lot of things that we're going to cover today. Hey, Beyond Bless. I can't comment much because I am at work, but I'm listening. Thank you so much. I appreciate you at least tuning in. And don't forget to hit the like button, you guys. And if you're new over here to this channel, don't forget to subscribe because I will be bringing you guys up-to-date information as it becomes available. I'm going to go ahead and go as far as speculating that we will not get a verdict until Monday. I think Judge Don Annaly is going to weigh this out over the weekend. And in my spirit, I could be wrong and I could be right. Whichever way it goes, it is what it is. But I would definitely say that we should hear more about her decision to release R. Kelly on bond by Monday. That's my speculation. So if I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It is what it is. If she comes down today, I'll be even happier as well because it's Friday. Who wouldn't want to get some good news on a Friday? Okay, so you said, I like when Greenberg said he stole the Versace. Exactly. Thank you for pointing that out because exactly. And that's my point that I did want to make. So that means that the Versace was stolen. That goes to confirm that Belief was stolen. And so that just goes to tell you guys right there that she stole his dog. And then I'm going to point that out to you guys as well. Because like I said, thank you, D Slade. I do appreciate that you're at least able to tune in. Hey, Mrs. S. Duncans. Hello to you, love. So, I noticed that as well. And I was like, okay, so if she stole his jacket, then it's safe to say she stole his dog. She wants to say the dog was a gift, but then I'm going to point out some things to you, how we know through her commentary yesterday how that dog was actually stolen and not given to her as the gift she's claiming. Of course, she's going to say what she wants because it's a lopsided story right now. We're only hearing from the negative side. We have yet to hear from the defense because that is going to happen in court, as it should. It should never be played out here on social media the way she has been out here ranting and raving. So I'm gonna go ahead and play some of this audio for you guys. And I'm just going to tell you guys my opinion on how I feel about her reactions to this commentary. So the first thing I noticed about her was that her disrespect towards her parent, towards her mom, to be exact. I felt like she gave her mother the look of kill. Like if looks could kill, it was like, I'm on live. Like, get up out of here. That's kind of like the way I perceived it. That's just my personal observation for that, because that's the way she rubbed off to me, and that's the way I feel. Her mom was all in the background. She was all in the camera. She wanted to be all in her life. Her mom was trying to make a point like, you don't run nothing. But then she was really agitated with her mom being in the room with her while she was trying to do her commentary. So that was one of the observations. So she was really excited about going live on both of her phones. Like I said, I'm not trying to play her audio here because, again, I don't want to even deal with, people, doing what they do. So she's talking about part one that has not yet to drop or has pre-recorded video that she did on her last video that she did drop on her channel. And again, she claims that she was in her feelings. She's really agitated with her mom. She's like, I need you to leave. Like, basically, get up out of here. If you could see that look on her face, it was like, get up out of here. Like, girl, bye. Very disrespectful. She has no respect for her parents. And her mom came back in to blow kisses at the camera. I think it was a better video on Instagram than it was on her YouTube channel, because on her YouTube channel, it seemed to really be, not as clear as it is here. So she's talking about her first video and how emotional she claimed. She claimed this wasn't to gossip, but that's exactly what it was. She always comes out when R. Kelly does something, when he's trying to have a bond hearing, when he's trying to be released. I notice she comes out often around that time frame. So she's wanting to get some type of backlash so that she can run to the prosecutors and say, hey, they're doing this, they're doing that. But in reality, you're putting yourself out here as a public figure. And because of that, people are entitled to our opinions. Okay, so this is the part where I'm going to stop her at. So she says when she got with R. Kelly, she says that, you don't know that the person that you got with, because of the 5 girlfriends, how they made her feel welcoming. So I'm going to object to that. And the reason I'm going to object to that is because she claimed that they couldn't even communicate with each other. So now you're telling me that these 5 women allegedly made you feel welcome when you already put out here a narrative that you guys couldn't communicate with each other. So she's not being consistent with the lies that she has already told previously. And now with her coming out speaking more, we're able to dissect the things that she has to actually say. So I'm going to continue to listen in, and I'll give you guys my commentary. She's saying that people was crazy for not trying to save her, but what was to save? So I'm gonna stop her again. She says that she claims that with her commentary, could potentially help others. How could you help somebody when you have yet to get the help that you claim you need for the claim of abuse that you claim that you went through when you was with him? But what I see is her going back to the basic person that she was before she ever met him. She's not keeping herself together. She got extreme bags under her eyes. They look like really, really big, bolts on her eye. The girl looks like she has been through everything you don't want to go through in life. And again, I'm blaming her parents. And the reason I'm blaming her parents, she's going to take responsibilities for her actions, but I'm blaming the parents due to the fact that they allowing her in their home to get on social media and put herself out here in front of the public eye to spin this narrative that they've been wanting to tell to all of us for a very long time. So again, and thank you, Mrs. Duncan. She's obvious. She's not a victim, not at all. I don't see a victim in that. And to me, what I'm gathering from her is that she is hurt because of her actions, that her parents allowed her to turn the blind eye for the good that R. Kelly was to her, to make him look like he's a sinister and that he's this monster, because it fits the narrative of what they wanted her to portray herself as. And that's why they said that they had her doing acting classes. So these acting classes come along with this act that she's putting on. I mean, could you guys hit it? Okay. She is hella obnoxious. She is very obnoxious. If she doesn't get any attention, she's going to commit. I agree. She needs to get off that crack and Molly. Yeah, it's something going on with her, because there's no way that you're going to be on social media crying and then not crying. It's almost like she's reaching for the sympathy, but she can't be consistent in it because her actions are not lined up together. When you are hurt and you have gone through things, you're not going to run to social media. And I know that as for myself, I speak from experience. So again, if you are dealing with a bad breakup, like you claim, and you've been through the worst. I've never been through the trenches, but I've been through some things. And so with that being said, you're not going to run to social media. That's the last place you want to go. You really want to just kind of like deal with yourself and reflect on yourself, and maybe take a long time, do a little R&R with yourself, go get yourself dolled all up, or take a walk, or be around friends. And I hear her saying she doesn't have any friends, and I'm assuming she doesn't have any friends because people are seeing her lying. So it makes them question, why would I be associated to this person when she's such a liar? You're lying on an innocent man to take him down, all because you claim that you didn't get the career that you guys wanted. So, but you knew going in, it wasn't going to be a career. He never promised her that she was going to have a career. So why is she making these accusations about her and Joy not having a career? Again, these are the lies that her family has gotten her to put out here just to spin the bottle the way they want the narrative to go. And now she's just talking about nothing that I'm going to actually just skip through it, because she's just talking about woman things and people asking her about, different things as a woman. And yeah, people do talk about these things. And people wanted to know when her music is coming out. She doesn't have an exact date. She's claiming that she's doing things on her own, but then in the same breath, she's also saying like she don't have a date because you don't have a contract. Where's your contract? Who are you signed to? Are you going independent? Are you going to work with a label? Like, what's going on there? So again, she's trying to convince others that she got something good going on for herself, but the way she looks speaks a totally different story. You can't even put makeup on to cover that up. What she's dealing with is the backlash of what her parents has her doing. And so now she's trying to get into character to remember the lies that they needed her to tell. And that's exactly what she's doing over here. whoever did her hair did a horrible job. Like they didn't do her hair right. I mean, her hair is like not matching the hair. It's snappy. I mean, she just looks a mess. And it's so unfortunate that she's putting herself out on social media to get these responses that she's not going to really like, because this is what she wants to hear, other people's opinions, and she's getting more than she can actually handle, is what I'm thinking. And then another thing I want to add is that to become a star, like R. Kelly, I hear her complaining about him taking trips overseas and doing tours overseas and all over the world, and he couldn't even help her or Joy get a career going. But again, he never promised you to a career. And then she even said, as far as it does, don't deal with a man because they take care of you, no matter if they're sheltering for you. And that was the point I really wanted to point out, is because she was definitely there for shelter and a refuge. I cannot wait until it hits the fan that her and R. Kelly was not in a relationship. She's still spinning this narrative. Of course, the legal is saying the same thing, but it's going to come out in the end, because they was not in a relationship. She was his assistant. You guys have to remember the time when she came here to New York, and she went to the court, and her and Joy, not even here, I think it was in Chicago, actually, I take that back. And they went to the court with their lawyer, the female lawyer that they had. And they were there because they were trying to find out when they could get their last check, because that's what they was concerned about. It was always about the money. It was never about, I love this man, or this man loves me, or I'm in a relationship with him. It was nothing like that. That was a lie. And she ran with it. And she's continuously to run with this lie. And she's talking about having her own voice. We saw how vocal she was when she was on the Gayle King interview. She was extremely vocal. She had a lot to say. It didn't seem like that was somebody who was being controlled. It sounded like she was trying to be controlling. The way she's treating her parents goes to let me know that she is very a controlling person. This girl is not all wrapped too tight. And before she got with R. Kelly, let the parents tell it, she tried to commit suicide. So we're dealing with a suicidal who's on the verge, and who just had a nervous breakdown on national television with her crying, and then going back to trying to clean herself up in front of the camera. Like, who does that? And I don't think she thought this out too well, because there's no sympathy that comes with that. You get what you give. So I'm going to allow this to play louder for you guys.
When you start to find your own voice, no one can really, because a lot of people like control. People don't like what they cannot control.
That she's talking about herself. She doesn't like what she cannot control. As we see, she wants to be in control. She's displaying it all over social media. The times that she goes live, the time that she does her pre-recorded videos, we can actually see her in action. And what I'm getting from that is a girl who cannot be controlled and wants to take control over everything. And she ran into her match when she tried to take control over a man whom she was not even in a relationship with. She fell for the lifestyle, being his assistant, being able to work up under an icon such as R. Kelly. So that's what I'm getting from this.
I'm going to tell you that one right now. Sorry, guys.
She talks about going back to her basic life. Yeah, your life was basic And before you got around R. Kelly, your life was basic, and now you're back to your old basic life. You don't have the same entities that you once had when you was around R. Kelly. So what you're getting is what you was or what you would have gotten had you never been around him. She doesn't know anything about Versace. She doesn't know anything about Donatella. She doesn't know anything about any of the name branded people to spend $4,000 on a jacket, and that she actually stole. So I can't wait, because there's going to be charges brought up against her for stealing his jacket, showing she had his jacket. She stole his shirt that we saw her wear, the checkered shirt. She stole a lot of stuff from R. Kelly on her exit out the door, and I'm sure she was told to do this by no one other than her pappy. So at the end of the day, there's going to be charges, especially when R. Kelly gets out and he started going through his things and realizing some of the things that is missing. She had people in his home. They have surveillance cameras. They'll be able to see who was there, who came in, who came out, and who took what out of the home. There's no way she could have hidden having that big puff jacket. So therefore, you're going to be able to see more. And I'm sure they already subpoenaed those cameras, those recordings of the Trump Tower, especially when she was there, all the duration that she was there, showing how she came in and out as she pleased, doing things as she wanted. No one was holding her against her will. And then she talked about how R. Kelly was arrested with belief. And if you guys remember the article, R. Kelly was picked up walking his dogs. They didn't say he was picked up walking her dog. They said he was picked up walking his dog. And then she says in this video that the feds took belief and she had to go get belief from the feds. So again, this girl took this man's dog. She took this man's belongings. And we don't even know what else is missing until R. Kelly is released from custody and able to go and do, his homework and see the things that's missing out of his home when he was there and the stuff that they allegedly put in storage. So he's got a lot of stuff that he needs to get done. But again, this is my observation of her. I'm not going to go into more detail with her because I'm sure for you guys who got a chance to see her have her breakdown on national television, and her family cannot even really console her the way she needs to be consoled, because what I got from it was more so that this girl basically she's hurt because she didn't want to turn on R. Kelly, but she was put in an unfortunate situation where her family had started something, and what they started, she had to finish it. And also, they're going to need Joy to collaborate her story. And so until they can get Joy back, in the condition that they need her in, then they can get her to do the same thing as Rio has done. That's why they're so adamant about saying we need Joy back. If you guys got a chance to watch the little boy's show, he had Joy's dad on his show on Skype. And so what I gathered from that was in the way, Joy's dad was like, long time, long see. So therefore they've known each other. They had communications with one another. And even Azrat said that she had communications with other people because she claimed that she was out here trying to reach as many people as she could. She said that. And then another thing I want to point out for you guys as well is that when Azrat was around R. Kelly and her parents was running around all over social media doing every interview they could possibly do, and then what they got from that was that they were doing interviews, and then it was asked, why did you guys not go to the authorities? Why did you not go to the feds? And it was said on tape, and I can play it back for those of you guys who didn't hear it, but it was said that we couldn't do anything as it pertains to her because she is an adult. So that means if she's the adult, she's the one who has to go to the police station and file a report and explain to them what was going on. So while she was around R. Kelly, while she was still able to go free, do what she wanted to do, come and go as she pleased, she took herself down there. She filed a police report. She even went to the feds and filed a federal case against R. Kelly with these lies that her parents and her parents' associates had her allegedly to conspire against R. Kelly to try to take him down. And so the reason a lot of people don't understand why I go so hard on her and Joy, and I'm gonna tell this reason to you guys, because you guys need to understand why. The reason I go so hard is because we would not be here if it was not for these two young ladies. It's because of them and the narrative that their parents was out here putting. They were in cult-like atmosphere. They were held against their will. They couldn't do this. They couldn't do that. They were pooping and potting in buckets and stuff like that. I mean, just an unsanitary environment. And then also, let me stay focused on that one. So basically, that's why we're here. We couldn't have never went back as far as his past of 2007 or 1996 or 1994, 5, 6, 7, 8, 99, 2000 to his trial in 2008, which we know he was acquitted for. But my point is, this came about for them to go in his past because of these two present cases that we're seeing right before our very eyes. So it's because of these two young ladies that got this case on the roll and got the people all roused up to shoot and edit and film the docuseries that was just a total lie, but it got lots of numbers behind that. So on top of that, it also went to again, and it dug up his past, so where they could start poking holes in his past, and then people started lying, saying that, you know, he coerced them and that he manipulated them and he, you know, paid people off so people couldn't tell the truth, and this is why he was found not guilty. All that is happening because of these two girls. That's the reason why we're here today. So if it never been an Azrat, if it never been a Joy, we'd not be here today, because they would have never went and digging in his past, trying to pull up old skeletons out the closet to make his past look like it's his future. He needed something relevant. They needed something relevant in order to get this case on the ball, on the move. And the way they did it was using these two girls. So again, you guys can feel how you want to feel. You can take it how you want to take it. But I'm telling you what I see. This is my observation on the way this case became about. And now that we're at the final, the finale is what I will call it, the final stages of the setup. Now she's come out the woodwork. She has yet to come out the woodwork. And I think she isn't coming out as of right now is because she probably can't handle the backlash the way she's handling it, because she's looking really crazy. She doesn't want to look like that, but we don't know how she's going to act once the ball start rolling and the trial actually begins, if we even have a trial. Because the way she's moving, she's showing that this was a deceptive case. And if their case relies on her and her, then nothing else is going to matter. So the past of the things that was pulled up and all these false allegations and the people changing their stories and everybody's story sounding the same, all that stuff is going to cease in due time. But again, we on the clock. We don't know when it's going to happen. We just got to wait and see the progression of this tape as it goes on. So now what I'm going to do before I read this indictment to you guys, I'm going to go in the comment section. I'm going to see you guys' comments. I'm going to respond to a lot of you guys' comments. And then I'm going to start reading this federal indictment that Azrat is in, so we can hear how we got to this point. Since no one else has read the indictment, I'm going to read it, and then I'm going to tell you everything that I'm getting from it. I'm going to stop, make my points, do the breakdown, so we all can have a clear understanding of what is being said in this indictment, what evidence they claim that they have, and so on and so forth. So we will get there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do it on my phone. I'm going to turn my volume down. I'm going to get in the now with you guys, and then I'm going to go up a little bit and see what y'all saying. So social media will be the last place to go. Exactly. Let's see. She's not going to have any peace until she gets herself out of this mess. Absolutely, D-Slay. And again, she's not going to have peace because she's carrying too much of a lie. It will be so much easier for her to tell the truth than to work herself up the way she is to tell this lie. And so when people was asking her, were you crying? She's like, oh, you can see you guys are good. Yeah, it's very visible. You got bags under your eyes. You are 22, 23 years old. There's no way you should have bags under your eyes at the age of no damn 22, 23. So I'm just not feeling that. She's not going. Okay, so we need to get a psycho analysis to review her body language and everything. Right. Queen Emerald, that was Edward. Queen Emerald says, I'm sorry, I don't believe she was ever in a relationship with Kelly. She was not. This is a storyline, period. Absolutely. Play the part where talk about why she left. Okay, I'll try to get back to that, Sheila. I think so, Quinn and Moreau. Let me see. I don't think R. Kelly ever had any kind of sexual relationship with her. I agree, Edward, because I mean, when a man like R. Kelly would have put his hands on that child, trust me, you would see it in her persona, her body language. I mean, the way you move, the way you carry yourself, you just be like, oh my God, R. Kelly. Oh my God, you guys would never understand what? I mean, you know, you would have those bragging rights. You could be able to boast. You could talk about the way he just be touching on your body and just making you feel right in all the right places. So the fact that, you know, you can just tell in the way she's not keeping herself together, you can just tell that man didn't touch her. Because if he touched her, trust me, that hair would not be looking the way it's looking. And I've been having my hair together since just before the corona actually hit, and then all the beauticians stopped. I had just got my hair freshly done, and because I do hair, I can keep my hair together. So you know what I'm saying, people ain't got to worry about anything. You know, I can get all in the camera. You can look at my edges. I got edges. I ain't missing nothing. Like everything is lined up. Like, but she got her hair is poofy up here. She trying to have the middle part. Then it's just a mess. It's like, girl, somebody needs to get you right, because you talking about you want to go right, not left. Look like you went left, not right, boo. So I'm gonna need you to get you a stylist, a beautician, and let them do your hair and stop playing in your hair, because you do not know what you is doing. So anyway, let me get back to these comments, you all. Pink said, looks to me, her parents had some type of mental illness. She had to have gotten her mental illness from one or both of them. And I would agree, because the way that mama was looking, she's all in the background. She had to the camera, like, who is you going kisses to? Like, to these people that don't like your daughter, these people who have a big opinion pertaining your child, who's on social media trying to make clout, trying to make a bag out of her alleged down relationship with the king. Girl, bye. I'm gonna need her to stop 5 times over with the 5 people that she claimed who welcomed her in, but then you said that you guys couldn't talk to each other. So make that make sense. Were you able to talk, or was you able to be not able to communicate with each other? Because you allegedly didn't even meet Joy until the last year before this hit the fan. I want to say sometime in 2018 or even early as 2019. So at the end of the day, she's very inconsistent. They're going to tear her apart when she get on that stand. You think she's crying now? You think she got bags now? She's going to be hauled up out of there in chains from the head to her head, her hands, and her feet. They're going to wrap her up and put her in the back, and she is not going to understand, because what you're doing is you is playing yourself very short with making these accusations against somebody to have this man go through this unfortunate situation where he's sitting in jail, knowing that this man did not do the things that you claim he did. The way you was looking when you was around him, your hair was always together. You had $20,000 Birkin bags. I mean, come on now. You was living a good life. You have Versace on your feet, honey. I mean, come on now. You cannot sit here and talk about this man as if he was just some monster, and you can't even start to begin to tell the truth about everything good that happened in your life. But see, one thing I can say, and two for certain, is when that Shabazz presidents drops, we're going to see her before and her after. So we're going to see how she was riding pro R. Kelly, how she was supportive to him, how she was sitting there talking about, oh, R. Kelly, baby, I can't wait till you come home. Oh my God. Oh my God, I'm going to court and I just looking at the back of his head. Oh my God. What? Oh my God, yes. Like, no, bitch. Your ass was sitting there, and that's what you was doing. You was all on the guilty. You talking about, I don't talk about what I do in or out of the bedroom. Okay, she gave her face, neck, and all. So at the end of the day, girl, that wasn't no act, that wasn't no show, that was for real. You spoke what was really going on in your life at that time when you was around that man. Until you got around your parents and his associate, that's when you went on to change your story prior to his birthday. You was up there in Vegas. You was in this man's house. You was sitting there. You had that old ugly ass blonde weave in your hair. Y'all done took that $40,000 mask and you done put it on somebody's head, on a body, and then you made it look like you and R. Kelly was taking these pictures, which we could see they were photoshopped. And now we know that you actually spent $40,000 on his face mask, that you claim this face mask was to hide him from people being able to see who he is, so he don't have to be a bum rush basically for being a superstar that he is. But why would you get a mask that looks exactly like him, a real live looking mask, almost like if you go to the wax museum and then you can see these wax figures and how much they look like the actual person. So this is pretty much, to me, was a setup to get him to buy this $40,000 mask. And he probably didn't even know she bought the mask, as far as we know. Sounds like so many lies has been told. We really don't know what's the truth from the lie. So again, this is why these specialists need to be in here. These people need to start analyzing these stories that have been put out here. Y'all so silly. Her consistency is beating her. Yes, D-Slay is tearing her apart, you guys. The girl cannot hold herself together if she tried. So again, this is my observations. This is what I'm getting from all of this. But hey, her parents messed her up emotionally and mentally, says Mrs. T. And I agree with you. They did, because they need her to do this because they went too far. And so now they need her to get to the finish line, but she can't even make it to the finish line because she's cracking in every way you can see. So again, it's not a good idea for her to be on social media. I get that she wants to get a bag. I get that she's trying to, get some money. And then she started talking about how she's working from home. You're working from home. What job do you have? Because you're not making no music. You barely can sing. People is blowing her up to make her feel very confident in her singing. And in fact, she actually should go back to singing classes or try to reach out to Lena McGlynn and see if she can help her a little bit, because the way she helped R. Kelly, she's going to need a professional singing teacher to help her get her vocals together, because she can't hold a note. She's shaking and and all you see is and I'm like, girl, dude, I don't know if she a bird, a duck, a quack, or what. I'm gonna need you to stop though. I'm gonna need her to take a few seats in the back, because honey, it ain't working for you. So if it's not working for you, that means it's working against you. In case you're in my chat, which I know you watch me, I know you follow me, I know your parents do, I know your associates or your parents do. So at the end of the day, it's all good, because you're gonna get what you need to hear over here. Because I'm gonna keep it real all day, every day. I don't know how to be fake or phony. I tried it just didn't work for me. Okay, let's see. She is miserable and mad. She don't want to be at her parents' house. I'm glad you said that, Mrs. Connor. So let's talk about that. Okay, so she's at her parents' house, right? But I recall she going into a home with the lock key on the door saying this is her new home. Why are you not at your home? What's going on, young lady? I'm just trying to understand you, because you're coming out here, you're putting these stories out here like you just bought a house and you just doing it good. Where's your home? I thought you said you bought a house. I don't see a house. I don't see you going to your own home. You got this big old house and stuff, and you got the shade room posting it up there. Everybody thinking you just bought a house when you just left R. Kelly, and well, you didn't leave him. He left you. And he wasn't with you, and he left you. So at the end of the day, I'm gonna need her to just stop with these lies, because nothing is being consistent. Nothing is sticking. It's all falling off the wall, girl. It is falling off the wall. Hey, Calabi 64. Hey, Teresa T. Hey, Trigger 281. Yes, she sure did sound like she's controlling on that interview. I'm telling you, she was very controlling, Pink. D Slade chilling, wrapping up the workday. Okay. Sheila M, that coat remind me of being brainwashed, but what does the necklace remind her of? Right. Man, that's a good question, Sheila. Pink says, "Oh, definitely, there will be charges against her, her pappy, and whomever else was involved." Yeah, it's coming down the pipe, because somebody has to go to jail for doing this to R. Kelly. Like nobody's gonna walk away from this clean hand. These people who girl, I'm about to I need this other long. Okay, I know that's right. I wish I had my bottle down here because I would definitely be sipping with you guys. It's Friday. Hopefully, everybody is quarantining in their home and their environment and doing what needs to be done to, get ourselves staying safe and not going out in the COVID air if we don't have to. It's really rough. And I mean, I don't know if it's rougher here or just rougher all over, but it's just crazy. Because sometimes my voice comes and go when I get in the air and it just be like trying to mess with my asthma. Okay, Stephanie Luke says RSK said they was friends, no sister wives, after they showed the uncut surviving. Okay. Kimberly Nicole says, I actually disagree. I think Rob is too decent to press charges against her. I mean, I would agree on that to a certain degree, but then it's not going to be in Rob's hand whether to press charges or not, due to the fact that she took it to a federal level. So whether he willing to do it or not, the feds is going to pick it up because she started playing with them. And when you start messing with the feds, you have gotten yourself into a serious situation. So you may be right where he may not want to do it, but I don't think it's going to be in his control to do it or not do it, because all this mountains of evidence and all this stuff that's put out here on social media, these different stories that has been told. Oh my God, my little eyebrows look good. I did a good job. So, I'm just saying, y'all, that's my perspective. That's my opinion, but you guys are entitled to yours. And I'm not going to take that away from you, Kimberly Nicole. She don't want him anywhere near Joy. You're right, Mrs. Duncan. She does not. I think that's one of the reasons they keep denying his bond, to keep him from pressing charges on her. Maybe so, Pink. Maybe so. I agree with that. They want Joy so badly in order to get her to go along with the scam and get paid. Absolutely. And the only sad part about getting paid from this scam is that there really isn't any money that you're going to benefit from this scam, because if she was going to ever become a part of any of these documentaries, she's not going to be a part of them because Presidents is done. Surviving R. Kelly, they're not making any more of those. And even the company who ran with the story, who was able to work with Lifetime, is no longer in business. They shut doors earlier this year in March. So anybody who would have picked up the production is unfortunately not going to pick up the production. So I'm going to be honest with you guys. If Shabazz do not post basically partial of the documentary for his presidents on one of these social medias, I can't imagine what mainstream media is going to pick it up. I can't see Black Entertainment picking it up because Deb is gone. They got new management over there. I don't know what Lifetime, I don't think they're going to do it because, again, the people who would have done it, who was doing a lot of sneaky stuff, who caused their ratings to drop with the second one, the doors shut. March the 1st, they shut out. They're no longer in existence. Who else would pick it up? I can't see any of the mainstream like CBS or NBC or ABC. I can't see any of those people picking it up. So I don't know who would pick it up other than YouTube, Instagram. I don't even think you can post too long on Twitter unless you're just going to do a long live. So again, his options are really slim to none. His best option is most likely to just bring it to YouTube. That's what I see. I don't know what other mainstream media is going to pick that up. There's not too many choices out there for him at all. Probably longer than that, knowing him. Okay. Yes, because it all started with Tim, then Angelo joined. Exactly. Trying to catch up. Yes, her sister claims she restores wigs. Wow. Well, if she's restoring them, she needs to, I don't know what she needs to do because that ain't working. Exactly. They might have to put her in a straitjacket. I'm telling you, that girl is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I mean, she was really having a meltdown on social media, and the sympathy that she was looking for, the support that she was looking for, it just wasn't there. You know, people were saying things like, who died? I mean, somebody died, and what funeral did you just come from? And I mean, they said Joy was dead, and she was like, oh, don't say that. I mean, it was just a mess. I mean, my advice to her is just lay off social media, girl. It's not for you. You know, it actually is not for anybody that's trying to, benefit for the wrong reasons, because God don't like ugly, and he's definitely not fond of pretty. So at the end of the day, for her to get on social media and just act the way she's acting is just, I don't know. I'm not feeling it. Her conscience is beating her up exactly these, like, it's tearing that girl apart. Mimi again. Hey, Mimi again. There is a good chance there won't be a trial. I think there is a lot that the public doesn't know, and the way that she's acting, he definitely hit it at least once. I don't think so. I think it's just he didn't touch her. That's just my perspective, but you are definitely entitled to your opinion. I'm not going to change or try to persuade anyone, because we all have different opinions. We all may not agree on everything, but I just want to be able to say what I see and what I feel. And I definitely hear you, and your comment is most definitely recognized over here. How you going to cut up a coat worth more than you can afford? That right there is, I want to say that's a felony because of the amount that it costs. So anything over $4,000 is considered a felony. So she just committed a felony on national television because of her meltdown. So, she's going to have to answer for that. And again, her time is winding down. So she can get on social media. She can do all she want to do, but it's going to catch up to her. That I can guarantee. Evil. Okay. Let's see. YouTube pays her pappy selling stories to the tabloids. Exactly. Hey, Magdime. Hey. They live 20 deep in the house. No privacy. Right. You feel me, Nicole? I mean, Kimberly, Nicole, like, for real. Mimi again said, wasn't that an Airbnb? Maybe she meant her home for a week. I'm just saying it wasn't hers, but the way she said it was like, she just bought a house, and she was bragging about buying her house, and she was going to have to need new furniture, but she was just looking at a rental property that the people took her identification, gave her the key code, and told her to go look at the place. And if she likes it, it's a possibility she could fill out an application and she could potentially rent it. But to buy it, I don't think that was or for sale. I think that was more of a rental unit that she was just going to look at. And then she got on social media trying to make herself look good. She didn't want to make herself look like she was broke, but we already know you're broke. You ain't got no job. You ain't got no history of working. So what does that leave you? That leaves you broke, because what you're trying to do is you trying to get some celebrities money, and you're not a celebrity. You're trying to make yourself be something that you're not, when you need to just be comfortable in your skin, love who you are, and just accept yourself for that you just not star quality. I heard her singing on the DJ Silva channel, and she sounded horrible. She tried to sing Maxwell's song, and she ruined a nice song. So again, the girl she don't have it. And I think what happened is that her parents kept telling her she was a star, that she could sing, and that they felt like she had star quality. That's what any parent. I tell my kids all the time how happy I am of them and how much I adore them and how I feel all my kids are geniuses. That's what a mother's supposed to do. But I'm not going to beat that in my kids if they don't match up to those standards. I'm just telling them that so they can have some high standards to reach if they get it. If they get it, they get it. If they don't, I'm going to be happy with whoever or however they turn out, no matter the career choice that they choose. So, but that's just a parent to tell your child, girl, you could sing. I could see you being a star. So I think something happened to her because she has mental issues and she believed in her heart that she was this star, and because her mama told her so, because her daddy told her so, you know what I mean? I just feel like that she really felt in her heart or hearts she's a star, and she's trying to live up to these expectations, and she's not living up to these expectations because she's not a star. But you can't tell her she's not a star, because in her mind she's a star. And that's where the schizophrenia comes from, and that's where the mental illness comes from, because a lot of these superstars who do actually make it big go to the nut house. We know Britney Spears went there. Mariah Carey went there. You know, I don't want to go all down the list, but a lot of people, Brandy, she went there, because people, the expectations of trying to maintain this status is not easy. So again, you know, she's been through a lot. What adjustments do you think R. Kelly's lawyer should do to get him out? Also, thanks for supporting the world's greatest R&B artist. Thank you, Bear Teddy. What adjustments I think R. Kelly lawyers should do to get him out? I think this last one actually was really, really good. So I wouldn't add anything to that, and I wouldn't take anything from that. I would just leave it at what it is. I think they did a phenomenal job on this last motion. I like the way Greenberg broke it down. I like the way he brought his examples. I just like everything about how he you know, brought it. I think he brought it. He brought his A game on this one. So I would just say leave it the way it is. Don't fuck with it. Just leave it the way it is. So, you know, yeah, that's what I would say. I'm just trying to adjust my camera a little bit because I see my mirror up in there. Okay, so let's move on to the next question, and then I want to get into this indictment with you guys, because you guys have been waiting very patiently. I just don't want to miss y'all comments. Tyler Perry, nah, has not touching that. Nah, he ain't gonna touch that. It's too messy, and it's too much of a disaster for him to get involved with. So I would say no to Tyler Perry. Okay. Now, the last but not least, I'm down to the bottom. So let's see. This gal really coronized and needs some serious sanitation. That's from M. Poto Granciana. So I've never seen you before, but welcome to the channel. I hope you guys who are new here find yourself welcome. Make sure you hit the like button, and if you want to subscribe to the channel, you like the commentary, you know, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be bringing a lot of content. We're going to be over here for the remaining of the weekend, and one day next week I might just go back to my original channel. Like I said, I just want to phase away for a little while. I want to come somewhere where I don't have to be you know, going back and forth with people. I just want to feel the way I'm feeling right now, which is really, really good, and spreading the love and just being a part of social media. So I enjoy bringing the content to you guys. I really do. No, she sure doesn't have it and never will. Maybe she could have if she hadn't showed the world her true colors. Nobody wants to deal with that. Yeah, she blackballed herself. So if she goes around here and she try to blame anybody for blackballing her, I'm going to disagree with that. She blackballed herself because she allowed herself to you know, get caught up in this rapture. So hold on. So now I'm going to get into this indictment with you guys. So now I'm going to get into I'm going to get into this indictment. So for you guys who wants to know what the evidence that they have collected, this information that is out here now, I'm going to present this to you guys. So let me get to this. Let me blow it up because you know I can't see, and the bigger the better for me without my glasses. So this is the most recent is indictment that was brought out on March the 12th, 2020. This is from the Brooklyn office here in New York. This is the United States District Court, Eastern District of New York. The superseding indictment against Sylvester Kelly, the defendant. Okay, and then we have. Let me click this. Let me go back up. Okay, so I'm not going to be able to see you guys in the chat because I've just moved over to another screen. So just I'll check in with you guys periodically just to make sure everybody's okay and that you guys are understanding. In case you guys have some questions along the way, I want to make sure I'm able to answer them as you guys are starting to hear certain things. So the introduction is at all times relevant to the superseding indictment unless otherwise indicated. The enterprise, the defendant Robert Sylvester Kelly, also known as R. and individuals who served as managers, bodyguards, drivers, personal assistants, and runners for R. Kelly, as well as members of Kelly's entourage, compromise in enterprise, the enterprise within the meaning of 18 USC 1961-4. That is, the enterprise constituted a group of individuals associated in fact that was engaged in and the activities of which affected interstate and foreign commerce. The enterprise constituted an ongoing organization whose members function as a continuing unit for a common purpose of achieving the objective of the enterprise. So this is the what the state or the feds is saying. Okay. The purpose of the enterprise were to promote R. Kelly's music and the R. Kelly brand, to recruit women and girls to engage in illegal sexual activities with Kelly, and to produce pornography, including child pornography, by promoting R. Kelly's music and R. Kelly brand. The members of the enterprise expect to receive financial opportunities and personal benefits, including increased power and status within the enterprise. In connection with the enterprise, Kelly and other members of the enterprise, which they have yet to present. So right now, we don't know who these other members are, but they're putting it in here. So that leads me to believe that they're withholding information from the public and not disclosing who these other members are as of now. I don't think any of us know who they are. It just only looks like it's R. Kelly. So, and members of the enterprise travel throughout the United States and abroad to perform at concert venues to promote the R. Kelly brand and to recruit women and girls to engage in illegal sexual activities with Kelly. When Kelly attended and performed at concerts and other events, Kelly and other members of the enterprise on Kelly's behalf. Now they're blaming R. Kelly, saying that on his behalf, he had people doing things, as we already understand. Behalf invited women and girls backstage and to other events following Kelly's live performances. These women and girls were often offered wristbands that signify that they were authorized to attend the event. There, Kelly relied upon members of the enterprise to ensure that only those authorized to attend were allowed at the event, and to manage the flow of women and girls who were directly interacting with Kelly. When Kelly identified a woman or girl who he wished to see again, he either gave his contact information to the woman or girl, or obtained her contact information, or relied upon members of the enterprise to do so. Following these events, Kelly communicated with certain of these women and girls by telephone, including through the use of traditional telephones, calls, text messages, iMessages, and FaceTime. As part of this communication, Kelly often requested that the women and girls provide him with photographs of themselves. That's where they just making up stuff, because basically a photograph with him is supposed to make it believe that he's this big enterprise. No, I don't buy it. Those are just fan photos. Kelly and other members of the enterprise also arranged for the women and girls to travel to see Kelly on occasions, including at concerts throughout the United States and related events. To facilitate their travel, Kelly directed the women and girls to contact a member of the enterprise, who then arranged travel for the women and girls. When the women and girls arrived at the lodging, which was typically selected by a member of the enterprise, usually provided with the instructions. In addition, members of the enterprise took steps to ensure that the women and girls did not interact with other women and girls whom Kelly planned to see. Members of the enterprise then arranged for the women and girls to attend his concert and position them such that Kelly could see them during his concerts. Kelly promulgated numerous rules that many of his sexual partners were required to follow, including the following. The women and girls were not permitted to leave their rooms without receiving permission from Kelly, including to eat or go to the bathroom. The women and girls were required to wear baggy clothing when they were not accompanying Kelly to an event or unless otherwise instructed by Kelly. The women and girls were not permitted to look at other men and instead were told to keep their heads down. The women and girls were required to call Kelly daddy. The enterprise operated within the Eastern District of New York and elsewhere, including overseas. Methods and means of the enterprise. Among the means and methods by which Kelly and his associates participated in the conduct of the affairs of the enterprise were the following: committing, attempting, and aiding and abetting the commission of crimes and conspiring to commit crimes, including but not limited to engaging in sexual activities with girls under 18 years old, engaging in and facilitating sexual activities without disclosing a sexual transmitted disease. Kelly had contracted producing child pornography, bribery, extortion, coercion, and blackmail. You can text me if you need me. Thanks. Yeah, I need that too. I don't know. Demanding absolute commitment to Kelly and not tolerating decent, obtaining sensitive information about sexual partners and members and associates of the enterprise and to maintain control over them. Creating embarrassing and degrading videos of sexual partners to maintain over them. Recruiting and grooming sexual partners for Kelly and isolating women and girls from friends and families and making them dependent on Kelly for their financial well-being. I don't think that he made anybody I don't think he isolated anybody from their friends or their families. I think they just chose to not want to engage in their families and their friends by their own recognizance due to the fact that they was around someone of the statute of R. Kelly. So I'm going to disagree with that in its entirety because these people had their own rights to come and go as they please. But because this is the narrative that we've heard from previously from Michael Avenatti, we're hearing it now here in this federal indictment. So it's just going to go hand in hand to what Michael Avenatti has been saying. But again, this is my opinion, and I am entitled to it under the United States Code of First Amendment. Them dependents on Kelly for their financial well-being. The defendant, Robert Sylvester Kelly, also known as R. Kelly, was the leader of the enterprise, is what they're saying. They're just trying to put everything off on R. Kelly. So count one, racketeering. The allegations contained in paragraph 1 through 10 are re-alleged and incorporated as it fully set forth in this paragraph. In or about and between January 1994 and present, both dates being approximate and inclusive within the Eastern District of New York and elsewhere, the defendant, Robert Sylvester Kelly, also known as R. Kelly, together with others, being a person employed and associated with the enterprise and enterprise that engaged in and the activities of which affected interstate and foreign commerce, did knowingly and intentionally conduct and participate directly and indirectly in the conduct of the affairs of the enterprise through a pattern racketeering activity as defined in Title 18, United States Code Section 1961, 1 and 1961, 5, consisting of the Racketeering Act set forth below. So again, now they're saying that things was done directly and indirectly. So when you put indirectly in that, that means that he wasn't directly doing something. So now these allegations are going to really have an issue with trying to prove under the court of law, because you can't, either he did or he didn't. It's not no in between. It's not no in between when you say, directly or indirectly. Now, racketeering 1, bribery. On or about August 30th, 1994, within the Northern District of Illinois, the defendant, Robert Sylvester Kelly, together with others, did knowingly and intentionally cause another individual to promise and tender to a public officer and public employee property, to wit, United States currency, that such public officer and public employee was not authorized by law to accept with the intent to influence the performance of an act related to the employment and function of a public officer and employee, to wit, the creation of a fraudulent identification document of Jane Doe number 1, which we know is to be Aaliyah, rest in peace, an individual whose identity is known to the grand jury in violations of Illinois Criminal Code, Section 533, 1A, and 551. Now, Racketeering Act number 2, sexual exploitation of a child, Jane Doe number 2, in or about and between May 1999 and October 15, 1999, both dates being approximate and inclusive with the Northern District of Illinois. The defendant, Robert Sylvester Kelly, together with others, did knowingly and intentionally employ, use, persuade, entice, and coerce a minor, to wit, Jane Doe number 2. We know this to be Lisa Van Allen, allegedly, and an individual with identities is known to the grand jury to engage in sexual explicit conduct for the purpose of producing one or more visual depiction of such conduct, which visual depictions were produced using materials that have been mailed, shipped, and transported in interstate and foreign commerce in violations of Title 18 United States Code, Section 225A, 2251, effective 1998, and 2. Now, where the hell did they get a kidnapping charge from? Like, why would anybody say they were kidnapped by R. Kelly? So again, we're hearing a lot of false narratives when it comes to this indictment that, again, I can't see any of this stuff sticking, but I'll keep going just for the argument's sake. Racketeering Act 3. In or about and between 2003 and 2004, both dates being approximate and inclusive with the Northern District of Illinois and elsewhere, the defendant, Robert Sylvester Kelly, together with others, did knowingly and intentionally secretly confine an individual, to wit, Jane Doe number 3, an individual whose identity is known to the grand jury, against her will, and induce Jane Doe number 3 by deceit and enticement to go from one place to another with intent secretly to confine her against her will in violations of Illinois Criminal Code, Section 510 and 1N55-1. And now we have the Racketeering Act 4 Mann Act violation, Jane Doe number 3. The defendant, Robert Sylvester Kelly, committed the following acts, either one of which alone constitutes Racketeering Act number 4. Transportation. Let's get this up. Okay. Transportation. In or about and between 2003 and 2004, both dates being approximate and inclusive with the Northern District of Illinois and elsewhere, the defendant, Robert Sylvester Kelly, together with others, did knowingly and intentionally transport an individual, to wit, Jane Doe number 3, in interstate commerce with intent that such individual engage in sexual activity for which a person can be charged with a criminal offense, to wit, violations of Illinois Criminal Code, Section 5-12-16A6, effective 2002, aggravated criminal sexual abuse, 512-16A and 7, effective 2002, aggravated criminal sexual abuse, and 512-15A2, effective 2000, criminal sexual abuse, in that Kelly engaged in sexual conduct with Jane Doe number 3, to wit, directly touching and fondling Jane Doe number 3 sex organs for the purpose of his sexual gratification during the commissions of a kidnapping of Jane Doe number 3. Oh my God. So now he kidnapping people. Kidnapping of Jane Doe number 3, knowing that Jane Doe number 3 was unable to give knowing consent as part of the same course of conduct as delivered of a controlled substance to Jane Doe number 3, knowing that Jane Doe number 3 was unable to give knowing consent, and knowing that Jane Doe number 3 was unable to give knowing consent in violations of Title 18 United States Code, Section 2421, effective 1998, and 2, coerce and enticement. In or about and between 2003 2004, both dates being approximate and inclusive with the Northern District of Illinois and elsewhere, the defendant, Robert Sylvester Kelly, together with others, did knowingly and intentionally persuade, induce, entice, and coerce an individual, to wit, Jane Doe number 3, to travel in interstate commerce to engage in sexual activities for which a person can be charged with a criminal offense, to wit, violations of Illinois Criminal Section 512-16A6, effective 2002, aggravated criminal sexual abuse, 512-16A and 7, effective 2002, aggravated criminal sexual abuse, and 512-15A2, effective 2000, criminal sexual abuse, in that Kelly engaged in sexual conduct with Jane Doe number 3, to wit, directly touching and fondling Jane Doe number 3's sex organs for the purpose of a sexual gratification during the commission of kidnapping of Jane Doe number 3, knowing that Jane Doe number 3 was unable to give knowing consent as part of the same course of conduct as delivery of the controlled substance to Jane Doe number 3. So they're saying that he gave her drugs or some type of controlled substance, knowing that Jane Doe number 3 was unable to give knowing consent, knowing that Jane Doe number 3 was unable to give consent in violations to Title 18. Okay, now we have Racketeering Act number 4 for Mann Act Jane Doe number 4. So this one is, we know, is going to be Jahonda Pace. Let me get back in the chat just to make sure everybody's okay. Are you guys okay with the reading of this? I'm going to pop me a little bottle and have me a little wine and make myself feel the way I need to feel. So I'm going to get in the now. So, yeah. Cheers to y'all too, and salute to all the real ones out there. Mother's Day is right around the corner. Okay. So everybody's good in here. Let me check. Hey, Big Mama. Let's see. Bear Teddy said, can you or anybody in this chat think of any artists that compete against R. Kelly on a verse battle due to him being multi-talented in music? I can't think of anyone alive, probably Prince or Michael Jackson only. I agree on that. Let's see. Those hoes could get out and work if they wanted to. They were lazy. I know that's right. Nope. R. Kelly is the king of R&B and Michael Jackson was the king of pop. Yeah, I agree on that, Miss T, all day. Okay, so I'm just making sure everybody is good. So get back to this reading of the New York stuff that we got going on here. All right. Racketeering Act number 5, Mann Act Jane Doe number 4. In or about and between May 2009, January 10, we know this to be Jahonda. Both dates being approximate and inclusive within the Northern District of Illinois and elsewhere. The defendant, Robert Sylvester Kelly, together with others, did knowingly and intentionally persuade, induce, entice, and coerce an individual who had not attained the age of 18 years, to wit, Jane Doe number 4, an individual whose identity is known to the grand jury, to engage in sexual activity. So Jahonda is saying she had sex with Jane Doe number. Wait, she's number 4. So wait a minute. Okay, not attain the age of 18, to wit, Jane Doe number 4, an individual whose identity is known to the grand jury, to engage in sexual activity for which a person can be charged with the criminal offense, to wit, violations of Illinois Criminal Code Section 512-16D, effective 2002, aggravated criminal sexual abuse, and that Kelly engaged in sexual penetration of Jane Doe number 4, who was under 17 years old, while he was more than 5 years older than Jane Doe number 4, using one or more facilities and means of interstate commerce in violations of Title 18 United States Code 2422B and 2. Okay, let's see. Okay, now we still got some racketeering acts again. Forced labor, Jane Doe number 4, in or about and between May 2009 and 2010, both dates being approximate and inclusive with the Northern District of Illinois and elsewhere. The defendant, Robert Sylvester Kelly, together with others, did knowingly and intentionally obtain the labor and services of a person, to wit, Jane Doe number 4, by means of force, threats of force, physical restraints. I mean, for real, I can't even process the stuff that they put in here. Physical restraints, really, physical restraints to that person or another person by means of serious harm and threats of serious harm to that person or another person by means of a scheme, plan, and pattern intended to cause such person to believe that if that person did not perform such labor and services, such person would suffer serious harm and physical restraints and combination of such means in violations of Title United States Code Section 1589 and 2. Racketeering Act 7, sexual exploitation of a child, Jane Doe number 4, in or about and between May 2009 and 10, both dates being approximate and inclusive within the Northern District of Illinois and elsewhere. The defendant, Robert Sylvester Kelly, together with others, did knowingly and intentionally employ, use, persuade, induce, entice, and coerce a minor, to wit, Jane Doe number 4, to engage in sexual explicit conduct for the purpose of producing one or more visual depictions of such conduct, which visual depictions were produced using materials that have been mailed, shipped, and transported in an effective interstate and foreign commerce in violations of Title 18, United States Code 2251A, 2251I, E, and 2. Now, here we go. Racketeering Act number 8, Mann Act, Jane Doe number 5. Okay? This is what I was trying to get to. The defendant, Robert Sylvester Kelly, committed the following acts, either one of which alone constitutes Racketeering Act 8. Transportation. Let me blow this up so I don't mess this up. All right. On or about and between April 28, 2015 and May 1, 2015, both dates being approximate and inclusive within the Central District of California, the Northern District of California, and elsewhere, the defendant, Robert Sylvester Kelly, together with others, did knowingly and intentionally transport an individual, to wit, Jane Doe number 5, an individual whose identity is known to the grand jury, in interstate commerce with intent that such individual engage in sexual activity for which a person can be charged with a criminal offense, to wit, violations of California Health and Safety Code 120290, effective 1998, willful exposure of communicable disease, and that Kelly engaged in unprotected sexual intercourse with Jane Doe number 5 without first informing Jane Doe number 5 that he had contracted herpes and obtaining her consent to sexual intercourse in these circumstances in violations of Title 18, United States Code, Section 2421, A and 2. My Lord. So I got to wrap this around my head right quick. So what they're saying is that R. Kelly, and we know who the rat is, number 5, went down to California, and she was down there with him. They were together and had sexual relations. And he didn't expose that he had a communicable disease, and that he engaged in unprotected sexual intercourse with her without telling her that he had contracted herpes, and obtained her consent to sexual intercourse in these circumstances. I'm just making sure I'm reading this correct, you guys, because this is crazy. I'm not processing it. And why California, though? But anyway, let's continue. Coercion and enticement. On or about and between April 28, 2015 and May 1st, 2015, both dates being approximate and inclusive within the Central District of California. Wow, the Northern District of California. So wait a minute. I'm not even going to go there. It's fine. The Northern District of California and elsewhere, the defendant, Robert Sylvester Kelly, together with others. So who's the others that was with them allegedly? Did knowingly and intentionally persuade, induce, entice, and coerce an individual, to wit, Jane Doe number 5, to travel in interstate commerce to engage in sexual activity for which a person can be charged with a criminal offense, to wit, violations of California Health and Safety Codes 12029, effective 1998, willful exposure of communicable disease in the Kelly, and that Kelly engaged in unprotected sexual intercourse with Jane Doe number 5 without first informing Jane Doe number 5 that he had contracted herpes and obtained her consent to sexual intercourse in these circumstances and violations of Title 18, United States Section 2422A and 2. Okay. Now we got Racketeering Act number 9, Mann Act, Jane Doe number 5. You guys already know who the number 5 rat is, so let's just continue. The defendant, Robert Sylvester Kelly, committed the following acts, any one of which alone constitute Racketeering Act 9. Again, transportation, I think it's just going to read twice. I'm going to read it twice. Let's just get down to the next one. Wait, let me go back. Whew, the lies, the lies, the lies. It is piling all the way up. Like, stop it already. So we're going to do coercion and enticement in or about between September 2015 and October 2015 with the Eastern District of New York, the Northern District of California, and elsewhere. The defendant, Robert Sylvester Kelly, together with others. I want to know who these other people are that was allegedly with him, because they're putting other people in here. We need to know who these other people are. Did knowingly and intentionally persuade, induce, and entice and coerce an individual to which Jane Doe number 5 to travel in interstate commerce to engage in sexual activity for which a person can be charged with a criminal offense, to wit, violations of California penal law sections 261.5A and 261.5B, unlawful sexual intercourse with the person under 18 years old, and that Kelly engaged in sexual intercourse with Jane Doe number 5, who was under 18 years old, while he was more than 3 years older than Jane Doe number 5, in violations of Title 18, United States Code, Section 24, 22A and 2, coercion of a minor in or about and between September 2015 and October 2015 within the Eastern District of New York, the Northern District of California, and elsewhere. The defendant, Robert Sylvester Kelly, together with others, did knowingly and intentionally persuade, induce, entice, and coerce an individual who had not attained the age of 18 years, to wit, Jane Doe number 5, to engage in sexual activities for which a person can be charged with a criminal offense, to wit, violations of California penal law sections 261.5A and 261.5B, unlawful sexual intercourse with a person under 18 years old, in that Kelly engaged in sexual intercourse with Jane Doe number 5, who was under 18 years old, while he was more than 3 years older than Jane Doe number 5, using one or more facilities and means of interstate commerce in violations of Title 18, United States Section 2422B and 2, transportation of minors, in or about between September 2015 and October 2015 within the Eastern District of New York, the Northern District of California, and elsewhere. The defendant, Robert Sylvester Kelly, together with others, did knowingly and intentionally transport an individual who had not attained the age of 18 years old, to wit, Jane Doe number 5, and interstate commerce with intent that such individuals engage in sexual activity for which a person can be charged with a criminal offense, to violations, to wit, violations of California penal law sections 261.A, 261.5B, unlawful sexual intercourses with the person under 18 years old, and the Kellys engaged in sexual intercourse with Jane Doe number 5, who was under 18 years old, while he was more than 3 years older than Jane Doe number 5, in violations of Title United States Code, Section 2423A and 2, Racketeering Act number 10, sexual exploitation of a child, Jane Doe number 5, in or about September 2015 and December 30th, 2015, both dates being approximate and inclusive, with the Northern District of California, the Northern District of Illinois, and elsewhere. The defendant, Robert Sylvester Kelly, together with others, did knowingly and intentionally employ, use, persuade, induce, entice, and coerce. So he employed these people. That's something. Okay. And coerce a minor, to wit, Jane Doe number 5, to engage in sexual explicit conduct for the purpose of producing one or more visual depiction of such conduct, which visual depictions were produced using materials that had been mailed, shipped, and transported in and affecting interstate and foreign commerce in violation of Title 18, United States Code, Section 18, Section 2251A, 2251E, and 2. Now we have Racketeering Act number 11, which is forced labor on the rat, Jane Doe number 5, in or about and between April 2015 and December 2018. Wow, wait a minute, because why would anything count from this April 2015 and December 2018 when she was already 18 after 2015 of December. So I'm not understanding how this is put together, but let's finish. And December 2018, both dates being approximate and inclusive within the Northern District of Georgia, the Northern District of Illinois, and elsewhere, the defendant, Robert Sylvester Kelly, together with others, did knowingly and intentionally obtain the labor services of person to wit Jane Doe number 5 by means of force, threats of force, physical restraint. See, this is the lie that she's saying. This is her story that, you know, she put on him. By means of force, threats of force, physical restraints. What physical restraint? Did he have handcuffs? I mean, come on now. And threats of physical restraints to that person or another person by means of serious harm, and threats of serious harm to that person or another person by means of a scheme, plan, and pattern intended to cause such person to believe that if that person did not perform such labor and services, such person would suffer serious harm and physical restraints, and a combination of such means in violation of Title 18 United States Code, Section 1589, A and 2. And I just don't believe it. I'm just sorry. And so now we have Racketeering Act number 12. This is the Mann Act for Jane Doe number 6. The defendant, Robert Sylvester Kelly's committed. So that was it for the rat, as far as I see for right now. But this is Mann Act Jane Doe number 6. We don't know who this person is. I certainly don't know. But let's continue. The defendant, Robert Sylvester Kelly, committed the following acts, either one of which alone constitutes Racketeering Act 12, transportation on or about May 18th, 2017. Okay, now I know who this is. So we know this is the Rogers girl, okay? Within the Eastern District of New York and elsewhere, the defendant, Robert Sylvester Kelly, together with others, did knowingly and intentionally. So again, they keep saying together with others, knowingly and intentionally, and elsewhere, the defendant, Robert Sylvester Kelly, together with others, did knowingly and intentionally transport an individual to wit Jane Doe number 6, an individual whose identity is known to the grand jury in interstate commerce, with intent that such individual engage in sexual activity for which a person can be charged with a criminal offense, to wit violations of New York Penal Law Section 120.20, reckless endangerment, and New York Public Health Law Section 2307, knowing exposure of infectious venereal disease, and that Kelly engaged in unprotected sexual intercourse with Jane Doe number 6 without first informing Jane Doe number 6 that he had contracted herpes and obtaining her consent to sexually intercourse in these circumstances in violations of Title 18 United States Code Section 2421 A and 2. Then we have where the coercion and the enticement on or about May 18, 2007, within the Eastern District of New York and elsewhere, the defendant, Robert Sylvester Kelly, together with others, did knowingly and intentionally persuade, induce, entice, and coerce individuals to wit Jane Doe number 6 to travel into interstate commerce to engage in sexual activities. Again, they have to prove that he brought people to do these things with. This is just to engage in sexual activities for which a person can be charged with a criminal offense, to violations of the New York Penal Code Law Section 120.20, reckless endangerment, and New York Public Health Law Section 2307, knowing exposure of infectious venereal disease, and that Kelly engaged in unprotected sexual intercourse with Jane Doe number 6 without first informing Jane Doe number 6 that he had contracted herpes and obtaining her consent to sexually intercourse in these circumstances in violations of Title 1820 United States Code Section 2422 A and 2. Okay, so I'm gonna stop right there because basically what I'm gathering is that they're trying to charge him with the venereal disease for not exposing it. But my thing is, it's alleged that she had the disease. So why is I can't. This case is just dirty. It's not even for real. It's just a bunch of lies. All these people know each other, man. I'll be so happy when this shit hit the fan. Okay, so now we have forced labor on Jane Doe number 6, which I'm just not even about to go there because again, she lying. She lying. Transportation of her, the coercion, the enticement. Then they got to count 2 Mann Act transportation. More on Jane Doe number 5. Okay, let's see this right here. This looks different. Okay, let's go back up. Okay, so Jane Doe number 5, interstate commerce with intent to that such individuals engage in sexual activities for which a person can be charged with a criminal offense to with violations of California Penal Law sections 261.5A and 261.5B, unlawful sexual intercourse with a person under 18 years old, and that Kelly engaged in sexual intercourse with Jane Doe number 5, who was under 18 years old, while he was more than 3 years older than Jane Doe number 5, titled count 6. He's got a count 6 for Jane Doe number 6. Count 7, the man act coercion, enticement of Jane Doe number 6. Let's see. Count 8 for Jane Doe number 6. Count 9 for Jane Doe number 6, which is the man act coercion and enticement. Again, I just see a weak case. I know a lot of people try to put this big buzz out there about, reading this indictment, and I just, all I see is the same song they all singing. So again, I cannot support this claim. I just can't support the claim. I can't, my spirit don't resonate that what's being alleged is accurate. I mean, it just sounds so made up. I would have to see this play out in court, and I can't wait to see this play out in court. And then again, I truly do believe that it's a possibility R. Kelly may not even have a trial. So it's still up in the air as far as I'm concerned, but I'm just my own self person. So trust me when I say, what's going to happen is going to happen. I don't have any control to put somebody in jail or hell. But, what I'm reading here is just not aligning up with the truth. It just sounds like their stories are too much the same. And I'm sorry, I don't know nobody who relationship mirrors the same. I can't count a person whom I dated and then or someone else dated, and then I got with the person, and then they treated me like they treated this person. I've never seen it before. So I can't rock with this, you guys. I don't think, I feel in my heart R. Kelly is going to walk, because again, even reading this is not telling me, ooh, he did it. I'm not getting that. I'm getting, what the hell? Nobody's stories are the same. And the fact that, we know the Kelly girl was associated at one point in time to the Savages as well as the Clarys. So when you put that together, these people was able to, get with them and have them change their narratives. We know the grown little boy did this to the rat. She went to Las Vegas. She came back from Las Vegas just before his birthday. She changed her whole entire singing of her song. She was no longer singing Free R. Kelly. She was singing Keep His Ass Locked Up. So again, I'm not processing it, but I would love to hear what you guys think about the readings of this indictment. Also, if anybody want to discuss her cutting up R. Kelly's Versace, but I'm gonna say it like they said it in the movie, Fosashi, F-O Sashi. So if anybody want to chime in on that, if anybody want to call in, the phone is available. It's acting up, but if you can get through, you winning. If you can't, I can call you back. But the phone number is 404 618-2442. That is 404-618-2442. And cheers again to y'all. And happy Mother's Day to the mothers. Because R. Kelly is in a fight for his life. And we read indictments and motions for release on bond through pretrial. And I just can't wait for them to come down with something. So what I'm going to do is take the time out to look online really quickly and see if anything has come in from Judge Donnelly. Let me see, because I want to be able to give you guys updated information. So therefore we'll know if she made her ruling today or if we just gonna have to wait the weekend until she can, weigh things out. And again, thank you guys so much for being patient with me as I read through this indictment, and you guys coming over here to our smaller channel where we can get some intimacy and, really get a chance to, stay away from some of the drama that's in those YouTube streets. It feels so good to be over here. I miss my original 2 channels, but right now this is just the best thing going. Is to just have intimate communication with you guys. Hold on, put the wrong code in. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's see what they got going on. Let's see if anything has reported on Kels. Okay, let's check it out. It's not been announced yet, you guys. So it's safe to say, we're gonna have to hold our breath, y'all, for the weekend. But I truly believe Monday, I'm gonna say midday Monday, we should know what the answer is for R. Kelly being released on bond. As my recollection reflects, I know I said one thing the other day, but I'm recalling it clearer now that she did make us wait through the weekend, and then she came with her verdict on that following Monday. So we will know the day before the actual Mother's Day, even though Mother's Day, I believe, is this Sunday. We will know before the 12th, which is the actual Mother's Day, usually held on the 12th. So again, I'm really thinking, what you say, Kimberly? She bought her own flights. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. She bought her own flights. Her parents was arranging for the flights, and then when they went to talk about the September 2015, do you guys recall that letter that Valerie Denise Payton wrote to authorize her to go with R. Kelly, to go to learn about the touring and how things are operated? It was never set in stone for her to have a relationship with him. But the fact that they are playing into that is because someone is framing him. Basically, R. Kelly is being framed as this monster who has to, kidnap girls. Like, this man, do he look like he gotta kidnap somebody? He ain't gotta kidnap me. I'm just saying, he don't gotta kidnap y'all. So why the fuck would anybody want to sit here and lie and say that R. Kelly was kidnapping people? This is just stupid to me. This whole case just don't add up. It don't make dollars because it don't make sense. You got to make sense in order to make dollars, and unfortunately, this case just don't make no sense, you guys. I'm just not feeling it. I'm really not. So I can't really, go towards the guilty side when all I see is him being innocent. This, again, even after reading to you guys this indictment, I didn't read the discovery. Maybe I should pull up the discovery so we could discuss the discovery. But what I'm reading in terms of this indictment, I'm not feeling anything that says the man is guilty. So I'm going to take the time out to look at the discovery for whatever discovery that they do have, if they have any. You know what I mean? Because the way things is set up, it's just looking more and more suspicious than anything. So I'm gonna see. Let's go right here. This is okay. This is not what I want. I want the history, the documents, the related justice, and view a document. Okay, let's go to view a document. Let's see. Go to document or page. Let's go put in discovery. Discovery. Okay. Invalid. Related transaction history documents. Okay, indictment. I'm going to get me a crab. I don't care what nobody say. I'm going out tonight. I'm really going to try to get to that restaurant before they close. I need a crab in my life. Where is the discovery? Okay, here we go. This one is 2020. Let me see if there's any recent discovery. We got this discovery. Let me see if there's any recent discoveries. I want the latest. Okay. Okay. Okay, so we do have some discovery. So I'm gonna open up this discovery, but I want to do it on my computer because I can see better, and this phone is small. Okay, let's do this. Log back in. All right, I'm in there. Now, what did I do to get here? This. Let's talk about the discovery. They always say we don't talk about the discovery. Then they'll never talk about the discovery. Okay. About to talk about it today. And cross our T's and dot our I's. Okay. All right. Let's make it happen, Captain. Let's get it going. We ain't leaving no stones unturned. Over here, we're going to know everything they know we know. We're going to be in the now. I think I went to view documents. And then, that doesn't look the same. History and documents. Run this. Run that. Okay, here we go. Okay. Look for the discovery. Let's get to 2020. Let's see. We did that indictment. Let me blow this up because I'm squinting. I'm just hurting my little 4 eyes. Okay, let's go. Here goes the discovery right here. Boom. Let's see what the discovery has. Let's talk about that. Okay, I'm going to view that. All right. Here we have it. Blow this thing up because I cannot see y'all. That's cool right there. It's hella big. Okay. United States versus Robert Kelly. AMD defendants ruling 16 discovery requests. This letter is our formal discovery request under federal rules of criminal proceedings 16, the United States Constitution, and all other relevant constitutional, statutory, and common law authority. Requests under Fed RCRP 12B, 4B, and 16A, 1A, B, D, and G, A, all oral, written, or recorded statements or testimonies made by these defendants, which are in the possession, custody, of control of the government, or which could become known by the exercise of due diligence. This letter was originally sent to the government on September 22, 2019. The court was not then included. Page 2 of 5. Any statement made by a defendant to any law enforcement officers, government agent, informant, or other third party. This request includes any statement by defendant not subsequently incorporated into any report, memorandum, transcript, or other document. A current copy of the defendant's prior criminal records. This record should include all arrests and convictions relevant to any sentencing issues under Chapter 4 of the United States Sentencing Commission's guidelines. A copy of or reasonable opportunity to inspect and copy any book, papers, documents, data, photographs, or tangible objects obtained from or belonging to the defendant. A copy of or reasonable opportunity to inspect and copy any book, papers, documents, data, photographs, or tangible objects which will be used in the government's case in chief. This includes not only documents that will be marked and offered into evidence, but also documents or tangible objects that will be referred to any way by any witnesses called by the government during its case in chief. It is requested that any documents or tangible objects in this category be specifically identified from among any other records that may be produced in order to enable the defense to prepare effectively for trial. Notice of the government's intentions to use any evidence obtained as a result of a search, seizure, electronic interception, or statement by defendants, and a copy of any legal or illegal process used, including any applications for eavesdropping or searches. A copy of reasonable opportunity to inspect and copy any book, papers, documents, data, photographs, or tangible objects, information, which are material to the preparations of the defendant's case at trial or at sentencing. All communications regarding this case between the Department of Justice or any other law enforcement agencies and any potential witnesses, disclosure of the names of the expert witnesses the government intends to call at trial, their qualifications, subjects of testimonies, and reports the results of tests, examinations, or experiments which are or were intended for use by the government as evidence at trial, or which are material to the preparations of the defendant's defense. This letter category includes any examinations or tests conducted by the government that are incomplete, inconclusive, or not intended to be used by the government at trial. Any and all written or recorded statements of any individual, including government agents and experts, persons who may have cooperated with the government, and persons not charged in the indictment, which statements exculpate the defendants or reflect favorably on the defendant, or which are consistent with the defendant's innocence. The name, last name, address, and written or recorded statements or memorandum of interview of any individual whose testimonies would be favorable to the defendant in any way or consistent with his innocence, including but not limited to the statements of any, and now on page 3, defendant conducts was not unlawful. The name, last known address, and written or recorded statements of memorandum of interviews of any individuals whose testimonies will contradict or be inconsistent with the testimonies of any witnesses for the government, regardless of whether the government intends to call such person as a witness, including but not limited to the statements of any lay person, attorney, government cooperator, law enforcement official, or expert. Any documentary or physical evidence, any documentary or physical evidence or information which contradicts or is inconsistent with the expected or actual testimonies of any witnesses for the government, any evidence or information which reflects adversely on the credibility of any witnesses the government used or employed during its investigation or intends to call at trial. This request includes, but is not limited to, evidence of information related to the commission of crimes, bad acts, or the giving of false or misleading statements of any kind. Any prior statements or testimonies of a government witness containing or reflecting any contradicting or inconsistency with the expected or actual trial testimony of the witnesses, or with other statements or testimonies given or made by the witness. Any consideration or promise of consideration given to or on behalf of any government witness. Consideration means anything of value, whether bargained for or not, that arguably could benefit the witness or persons connected with the witness, including but not limited to any plea agreement entered into between the witnesses and the government or any state or other authority, formal or informal, direct or indirect, immunity, leniency, favorable treatment, or recommendations, other assistance with respect to pending or potential criminal charges, parole, probation, pardon, clemency, civil dispute, tax liability, administrative proceedings, or any other dispute involving the witnesses or between the witness and other persons or authority, payments of money, rewards, or fees, witness fees, transportation, legal services, or other benefits or substances, payments of any kind, and any other type of inducement to cooperate or testify that arguably could reveal an interest, motive, or bias of a witness in favor of the government and or against the defendant. The criminal identification and history sheets of each government witnesses, records and information revealing felony convictions and misdemeanor convictions involving dishonesty or false statements, including certified copies of convictions, any criminal charges are pending against the government witness that has not been disposed or either by conviction or acquittal, any criminal activity in which a government witness has engaged that has not resulted in prosecution or conviction, evidence or information relating to alcoholism, illegal drug use, or mental or physical impairments of each government witnesses, the name, last name, address, and written or recorded statements or memorandum of interviews of any individual who has been interviewed by the government who had knowledge of the activity alleged in the indictment or was present when the events in questions occurred and who failed to implicate the defendant in this activity. Any and all books, papers, records, CDs, DVDs, tapes, logs, or documents which contain evidence favorable to the defendant or any consistent with his innocence, the contents of any files maintained by the Internal Revenue Services, which is the IRS, Drug Enforcement Administrators, FBI, or the United States Attorney's Office for each law enforcement against or officer involved in the investigation, Brady, Giglio, Jenks, and Roverio material. The defense hereby requests all material it is entitled to as soon as it is entitled to it under Brady versus Maryland 373 U.S. 83 1963, Giglio versus United States 405 U.S. 150 1972, Jinx versus United States 353 U.S. 657 1957, Roverio United States 353 U.S. 53 1957, and their respective progeny, and 18 USC 35, and any relevant court rule or order. This includes, without limitation, information which would tend to attenuate, exculpate, exonerate, or mitigate the defendant's involvement in the circumstances alleged in the indictment. Any information affecting the credibility of any government witness, including prior criminal records, inconsistency statements, deals, or immunity agreements with any state or federal government personnel, and any benefits of any kinds of witnesses may receive in return for cooperation. Any information from whatever source which may benefit the defendant under the federal sentencing guidelines, including deductions and base offense level reductions in specific offenses, characteristic reductions in roles in the offense, disputing relevance, conduct, reduce criminal history, etc. FRE 404B evidence. The defendant requests notice of the government's intentions to introduce into evidence under federal rules of evidence 404B any evidence of the crime, other crimes, wrongs, or acts allegedly committed by the defendant. Such notice should include the nature of this evidence, the pertinent witnesses, any supporting documentations, and the legal theory of admissibility to be relied upon by the government. And number 5, form of production for all non-publicly available electronic materials. The defense requests productions in native formats. Okay, so I just read all that pretty much for damn nothing, because that didn't tell us a damn thing about none of the fucking evidence. And that's what happens when you drinking and driving. I was drinking and driving, y'all, and I ran into some shit that I just read all that for damn nothing. This don't make no sense, y'all. I'm so serious. This didn't make any sense, you guys. I need to not drink, because I tell you, I don't drink, but I was going to have this wine, and I'm not even about to sit here and act like I wasn't, y'all. Hold on. I'm next. Okay, I'm about to make a call back because we had a missed call, and I'm telling y'all, this phone don't work. Shit. I'm about to call somebody that called me from 440, okay? I'm calling you right now, and I'm about to put you on the line. So get ready. This shit gotta stop.
Hello?
Hello, Kimberly Nicole?
Yes.
Hey, beautiful.
Hey, how are you, love?
I'm good. This is Hollywood Next, girl. You on my live.
Okay. Well, first, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Mother's Day weekend coming up. And also happy Nurses Week. I know you're a nurse. Yes. I'm a nurse as well. Hey, so girl. Happy Nurses Week.
Yes.
Yep. So I wanted to call in because something that you said crossed my mind when you were reading the legal papers that you were reading about the flights and who was catching flights and stuff like that. And so I wanted to call in while that thought popped into my mind. Don't know whether or not people were aware, but it has been said that Azrael's sister works for the airline, and friends and family fly free and get free airline tickets when someone in your family works for the airline.
That's true.
So just because she was flying all over the place does not mean that Kels was buying all of those tickets for her, nor does it mean that she was necessarily seeing him or meeting him on all of those trips, the early trips that she was taking and stuff. Right. And then it's also been said that some of the flights that Faith took, she purchased her own tickets. So I'm just not really understanding how he gets blamed for people flying to be with him. First, they stalk him, they chase him, they call him. It's been said that you have to call like hundreds of times in order to get into his circle. They work hard to get into his circle to try to get close to him. They date people in his entourage, date the security guards, do all kinds of stuff in order to try to be able to be invited around. Then they finally do get to meet him or hook up with him or whatever. Fly, meet him at a hotel, have sex with him, and then turn around and say that they were coerced. And I'm just not understanding how a judge could entertain, or a jury could entertain, or a prosecutor could entertain that idea. That just doesn't. Right. It doesn't match up, you know. I mean, because if you are not going there to have sex, why are you sending naked pictures of yourself and texting naked pictures of yourself all over the place? And you know, I mean, like, you don't know that there's going to be sex had at a hotel. There's only one thing you can do in a hotel room. Right. Well, two, sleep and screw.
Exactly.
But you know, I mean, I just think that that's kind of interesting. Then you keep going back over and over and over again, but then saying that you were captive or that you were held against your will. So, okay, so you go to meet somebody at a hotel the first time and claim that you weren't really down to have sex, but you did it anyway. So then why do you fly a second time, a third time, a fourth time, a fifth time?
You are so right. You're absolutely right. And
you know, I mean, because if I meet you and you assault me the first time, why would I agree to be alone with you again?
Exactly. Especially when she was coming and going as she pleased. So that's not going to stick for her.
I mean, I don't know, because, you know, when these people get up onto the stand and they start crying, some of the jurors, you know, sometimes I'll say this. The prosecutors have to be extremely careful. I mean, the defense team has to be extremely careful about assessing the intelligence level and educational level of the people who are allowed onto those juries, because a stupid person is easy to get things passed. You get up onto the stand and start to cry, and all of a sudden people have sympathy and they think that that means you're telling the truth.
Right.
So hopefully, if we get some college-educated people with master's degrees, people with PhDs onto that jury.
I know that's right.
Who will actually sit there and listen to what is being said and rationalize it and think in their minds, okay, this does not make any logical sense whatsoever.
Right. You're right. You're absolutely right. I mean, if we can see it, they're going to have to see it. I mean, I can't see them not seeing, because I know they will be hiring. I mean, not hiring, but, you know, scoping out for people with master's degrees and PhDs. I can't see them working with anyone less than that. To become a juror, you have to have certain qualifications. And so I'm sure they're going to pick the right people. But again, you never know. You know, a lot of people kind of like, even though they have these degrees, some of them could just be a bunch of educated fools.
True.
You know?
I'm not saying that only educated people are intelligent. Some people have an education and they're not intelligent. Some people have only high school level and they're very street smart. Hopefully they're going to get some people on that jury that can read people and pay attention to their inconsistencies. Like Azrael is all over the place. It's like she's got 6 different personalities in a 15-minute period, and each one of them has a different story and a different reality. Now, just because you believe the story that you're telling at the moment doesn't make it true.
You're so right.
One minute it's, you know, he wouldn't let me have a career. But it's been said that he actually paid for her studio time during the time that she was with him.
Right. That's true. She sure said that. You're absolutely right.
Okay. So which one is it? I mean, why would he pay for studio time and then tell you can't have a career? This is what I believe happened. Okay.
And then not only that, but just let me pause you for 1 second, Kim, because she also said that they did a song together.
That's true.
Okay?
Exactly.
Now proceed.
Exactly.
Go ahead, honey.
Right. Okay. So what I was just thinking to myself, okay, so you work so hard to get into his circle, and then you get there, and then you find that you're in competition with 3, 4, 5, 6 other girls who live in the same vicinity, different houses, different apartments. You're being taken on shopping sprees. It's been said that this man would hire professional makeup artists, have their hair done professionally, send them on shopping sprees, spoil them rotten, treat them like princesses, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if you're competing with all of these other girls to try to make the top spot or to be the number one chick, do you want to leave and pursue your career? Because you know that the minute that you leave, you'll be replaced.
Right.
And what are you going to get that is going to be better than what you've got?
Exactly. She won't match that. It'd be hard to match that.
Who's going to buy? Right. Like, who's going to buy your boobs?
Nobody.
Who's going to have you living in a Trump? Who's going to have you wearing Gucci and Versace and all this other crap that you didn't even know existed until you met him?
Exactly. Nobody. You can't get that nowhere else.
When you leave, right, and then when you leave, then the bitches that you can't really stand are gonna have your spot. So anybody who has common sense knows that she didn't want to pursue a career.
The one she said she tolerated. Remember, she tolerated them.
I think that she went in wanting to get rid of all of the other girls. I mean, their competition. Hallie Calhoun is absolutely gorgeous.
Yes, she is.
Joycelyn is beautiful. I mean, and those are just the girls we know about. There are probably other women in this situation that we don't even know about.
Right. Exactly.
So, I mean, if you want to, come into a situation where other people have been there longer than you, they've been there for years, they have seniority,
right,
then you're going to want to get rid of all of these other girls.
Yeah.
I think that she was probably so obnoxious to be around and to have to live with. She's obnoxious in just watching her for 15 minutes on the internet.
Exactly.
I can't imagine what it would be like to listen to that voice all day, every day. The antics that she was probably pulling, constantly wanting attention. I mean, I'm sure that it was a hot mess.
She's like a ticking bomb, She's like a bomb ready to go off.
Different personalities every 2 seconds. I mean, can you imagine what it would be like to live with her?
She has this personality disorder. There
were no friendships there. There were no friendships to be had. No. Everybody wants him.
Right. And I look like she had a lot of personality disorders as well.
Yes, which she had before she met him.
Yeah, borderline schizophrenic, if you ask me.
That is the exact diagnosis. Textbook. Get the DSM. Get the Effexor. Get your lithium. Bring it all.
Yeah.
Get it from the med card and bring it all.
I'm trying to tell you. No, for real. Oh my God, you're so right. They're laughing at you when you said seniority.
Well, pretty much. I mean, like it's been said that Dom was 9 years on and off, and
Dominique was there for 9 years.
So you're trying to climb the ladder. I mean, so you're pretty much kicking everybody else out of the way to try to get and stay on the money train, because that's really what it was all about for her and her family. It's been said that they wanted him to finance a singing dildo business.
Yep.
That, you turn the dildo on and it sings
his song.
I feel so freaky tonight when you turn it on. Then it's also been said I read it mentioned $20,000 for a food truck. That was another so-called business proposition. And when you look on the internet and you look up how many LLCs this person has open, not only in his own name, but in his family members' names. Different businesses that have absolutely nothing to do with one another.
Yeah. And then remember on the Gayle King interview, they said that they pitched various business deals to R. Kelly, which he shot them all down. So this goes hand in hand with the truth versus their lies.
But then too, okay, but he was working at a company. I think the name of the company was Christie Lights, which is a company that does lighting for big events and stage shows and theater and things like that, which would explain how he was able to make.
Yeah, that's what they said about Angela. You're right. I heard that
to get her backstage to meet all of these different celebrities and stuff like that. And
it happened in Florida. They're from Florida. Well, they're not from there, but they live there. So I'm sure they had a lot of connections in Florida, especially at the Funk Fest, to get her put on that stage. And whoever the management was at that time, and I'm assuming that it was James Mason, he could have allegedly been the person to allow her to get on that stage, to get an opportunity to meet R. Kelly, and then the rest is history.
Right, but she's been shown on Twitter, back in 2014, lying about her age. Every year she would lie and say that she was a year older than she actually was.
True.
When she was 16, she would say she was 17. When she was 17, then she was saying she was 18.
That's true. I got her whole Twitter account. I screenshot it, screen recorded it. She even took her ex-boyfriend's story and portrayed it as her own. He was the one who was heartbroken.
That she had tried suicide. Right,
he
she
was
was supposed to be
suicidal.
on a suicide attempt, but yet she had like shows and showcases that she was doing during the same time frame. She was on stage someplace when she was supposed to be in a psychiatric hospital on a suicide attempt.
So how
in
you
restraint. Her mother said specifically that she was in restraint.
Yeah, so how you have two places at one time?
And how can you be on Twitter when you're in restraint?
Exactly.
You and I both know that when a person is on a psychiatric hold and a person is in a psychiatric hospital,
72-hour hold,
do is take your cell phone.
You don't get no devices.
You don't have access to your cell phone.
No social media access. You can't even get your phone. Everything is done through the doctor's orders until they finish evaluating you before you are able to even communicate with the outside or your family.
Exactly. Plus, you're on like a one-on-one. People are watching you because they don't know if you're going to try it again. And if you're in wrist restraints, or you have to be in wrist restraints,
every 15 minutes they have to check her out to make sure.
Exactly, and release them to make sure that the circulation is okay. So you can't be on Twitter, and you can't be up on a stage someplace performing.
At all.
I hope and pray that Greenberg, the defense attorneys, that they're looking at this, that they're understanding this. Maybe somebody will send them this clip of the discussion that we're having, because they need to subpoena the medical records directly from this so-called psychiatric hospital that she was supposed to have been in.
Absolutely.
I have a feeling that these people have been submitting all kinds of fraudulent documentation.
I agree with you.
Fraudulent text messages, fraudulent and Photoshop pictures. You got, doctored text messages. And you can doctor a medical record. If a person knows how to do that, you can do that.
It's very easy. It is very easy. You are so right. And I agree with you 100%. And I also thought that myself, like, they're forging these documentations, especially if she can go as low as forging these Photoshop photos. And then she went to take defense yesterday when someone asked her that the Photoshop of Dominique was Photoshop. And she said her excuse was, well, if you blow it up, of course it's going to look different. No, it's not about blowing it up. Dominique spoke for herself and confirmed that those were fraudulent documentations.
She absolutely did. And when I looked at the picture, I'm saying to myself, are they supposed to be Siamese twins or something?
Right.
Dominique is not even sitting on a chair. It looks like she's actually growing out of the man's hip. And she specifically said she does not know who the man is.
She said that is not R. Kelly.
That's not blowing up a picture. That is making up a fraudulent photograph. If she doesn't know the man in the picture.
No, she does not. You're so right. Yeah.
I mean, it actually looked like he is holding her, like he lifted her up and he's holding her on his hip like a baby or something. It's just not a natural or normal looking picture at all when you really look at the photograph.
It really isn't.
And then she comes on the internet and says, I don't even know him. And okay, but then she goes on her live and tells everybody that she and Dominique were friends, and Dominique was the only person who was genuine to her.
Right.
And I think that if Dominique were to be asked about that, she would probably have a different story to tell about that as well. Because when she came back, when Dom came back, she specifically said she came back to check on Joy.
Right.
I don't recall her ever saying she was checking for Az. I think that she probably was happy with the peace that she found. Not having to live with that. Because look at how Az flipped on Joy.
Yeah, she was
totally flipped on her.
She was a wrecking ball. And I think that's where they got the title from, to name Surviving R. Kelly 2, The Reckoning, because she was a wrecking ball.
Right, but the thing is the one thing that I think that people missed about that, if you go back and you look at that video of her flipping on Joy, she also flipped on Kimberly, the person I think who is like a personal assistant maybe, or somebody like that who does a lot and probably has been with Kels for a long time.
Right.
She flipped on her too and started threatening to have her arrested too.
She said, "You gonna get arrested, Mama." I heard it.
She was acting like she didn't know her. Oh, she might have a weapon. I was just thinking to myself, okay, so for all of you people out there that are listening to this, please do not ever approach that girl on internet or interact with her or her family in any way.
Yeah.
Because if she'll call and make false accusations and false police reports on people she knows, she'd do the same thing to other people.
Exactly.
But I'm just saying, she's evil.
Yes, she is.
And evil has no conscience. So, all of you people out there, oh, the poor girl, she needs help. She loved him. No, borderline personality people are not. They're not normal. They don't have normal feelings. They don't have normal empathy. She turns on the tears to get what she wants. She manipulates to get what she wants. Oh, I want to kill myself if I don't get my way.
Yep.
You know, it's manipulation and control. It's not genuine.
Mm-hmm.
It really isn't, and thinks nothing of destroying other people's lives and reputation. So that's all that I have to say about that. People can say, oh, it's, you're bashing the person. I don't care what you say.
No,
I'm just
you're
basing it on what I just.
It.
The way that we see it, and what we saw this person put on the internet for everybody to see, her calling and making false police reports against two innocent people.
Yes, and we saw
so
that.
Now we're seeing her turn around and do the same thing with Kel.
Yeah.
1 minute is she loves him, and then the next minute is he's the devil because he dumped you, or because he stopped supporting you financially, or
it's her personality.
That's
disorder.
What it looks like to me.
She can't be consistent in who she is. She has identity crisis. I mean, I see split personality in her. I see a person who has a lot of mental issues, and she has yet to deal with it. So because she's lacking the support that she actually needs, they're feeding her more of what they think she wants instead of what she actually needs. And that's what I'm getting from that. She's definitely a narcissistic
personality disorder. Nothing is ever her fault. It's always somebody else's fault. And I see where she gets it from.
Oh,
her father is all over him, and the mom isn't that great either.
No, and then the fact that she wants to be an advocate for women. Well, why aren't you advocating for your mom? Didn't your dad beat your mom? Didn't your dad and your mom have a lot of fights and things of that nature? So she's been exposed to these type of behaviors, and she's acting them out the way we're seeing it. So what we're seeing is just a reflection of the home that she come from. She's a product of the environment of her. She's a product of her environment. Unfortunately,
her parents sent her in there to do that. There have been photographs. There's a photograph, and I can't remember where I saw it. I don't want to call a YouTube channel and then be wrong, but I know I saw a photograph of her mom coming down the escalator shopping with them in Chicago. And Joy and Az were in the picture.
Right. I saw that. You're absolutely right. I did see that photo of them.
Okay, but these people are lying lying and saying that they weren't in contact with her. Well, if you weren't in contact with her, then why are you shopping with her in Chicago?
And then the other channel, that one of the channels that have like bigger numbers, like Meek at Night, I know she also revealed that they were in communications with her the whole time. And then when they did that, they went on the attack to kind of like call her out and disrespect her and, put her public information out there.
Right, and try to make her be
exposed
quiet,
this a long time ago. And so other people were just going behind her and seeing the same thing that she had already exposed. But definitely Meek at Night exposed this already.
Yeah. I knew it was somebody. I just couldn't think of who it was. But yeah, I mean, like, so the parents are there shopping. At least one of the parents is there shopping. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then turn around now and say, my daughter was a child.
Right. And held against her will and can't communicate with her family. And she sat there and told everybody, no, I was in communication with my family. I got my phone. So she contradicted the whole story that they had came up with and threw them under the bus. And now she's trying to fix what she's done, but the damage is done. So it's just has to play out either in court, or they're going to either dismiss the charges, one or the other. That's the way I see it.
I think so too, but I also think that there's some lying that's going on to try to cover up the fact that they were trying to extort money from R. Kelly. It is a crime, and her father is a convicted felon.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, so, unfortunately, see, here's the thing. In the very beginning, going all the way back to Lisa Van Allen and all of these other people, if R. Kelly had called the FBI and reported these people for extorting money from him the very first time that it happened,
mm-hmm.
we would not be here.
I agree with you.
He is such a nice person, such a forgiving person, and such a person who believes in no snitching, mm-hmm. that these people just came back, and then they go and get family members. And I mean, it's been said that Jonjolyn and Geronda and Jasmine are all last name Johnson, and that they're all related to one another.
Yeah,
and I believe it.
I think there's some connection there for sure. I wouldn't put it past the situation, because you have to remember, when you go back to the original story, when his first trial had started, everybody was related or in some way or another to Aaliyah. They were her her friends, if not the aunt, like Stephanie Edwards Sparkle, aka Devante, and then you have Tracy Sampson, you got Tiffany Hawkins, you have this other girl who they never even really named who she was, because after reading Jim Derogatis's book, I couldn't get who she was because he never disclosed that information. But is another person out there who allegedly was having a relationship with Tracy Sampson. They were having a threesome, and then one of them, the girl got jealous and she called herself walking away, while Aaliyah went off to get the career. The others went off to get the $250,000 payout for each other. So it was just a money grab, and they all were cahoots together. So what I'm seeing in this newest case here is even some of the people from his past life, from his past tense, or from his past, basically also these people are connected, because you got Dominique connected to Johanna. Then you got Joy and Azrael. Somehow they were connected. They were friends because their parents are co-workers with this LLC company. You got Angelo Clary is the manager of the LLC of J Savage Collection, if they haven't changed it yet. So you have all these LLCs out here. So that just goes to show that your daughters knew each other. There was some history there. And then I still have yet to put together the rest of the chains of the connections of the people who are connected. So, this story is really interesting. This case is interesting. And the more we dig into it, the more we're able to expose. So we just have to continue on doing what we're doing. I think we're doing a great job over here. And it can just get better. But I do see R. Kelly walking out of the doors a free man. He will be vindicated of all these charges because they're not accurate. They're not going to stick. The lies are already out there. Everybody is inconsistent. You got one liar constantly on social media. She can't get herself together. She's looking like a crazy schizophrenic patient. And then you got others who are moving silent. She's just not doing what's supposed to be done. But I can't leave out Joy, because again, we have to remember that this case became about them. So because
I know, and then Joy is like, it's on the fence, because then if if what Don Russell said is true, if Jonjolin is related to Geronda and Jasmine, then that means that Joy knows Geronda too.
Exactly. That's my point. You're so right. That's what I'm saying. So it's and all the stuff, if it don't come out in the wash, we know it comes out in the rinse. So we just have to wait and see what happens. But this information that just came out, I think her coming on social media and doing these live or even pre-recorded videos is giving us a better sense and understanding as to what we're dealing with, which we already know anyway, for those who are educated and smart enough to see through it and can read people like myself and you and others. So again, I think all this stuff is just it's unraveling right before our eyes. So yeah.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. The girl was covered in feathers at the end of a live. I mean, it's just so if there, like, you need like a big top with circus clowns. That's the only thing that's really missing here at this point.
Exactly. And put a red nose on her.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm going to let you go. I'll let other callers call in, but you're doing a great job. Keep up the good work. Love it when the channel everything is like peaceful and we're on message. And because the more that people start to see and open their eyes, and the more people start to come forward and start to speak out, I think that it gives credence to the fact that we're not crazy.
No,
we're not crazy.
That's right.
We just see through bullshit, and we're not just taking whatever the media says and running with it.
No.
TMZ and those guys, they have an agenda. They had a thing that they wanted to do and go in just one way, in one direction, and only tell one side of a story. And it's not like that. There are many sides to there's many sides to this story.
Sure is.
I can't wait. Because some people are laying off in the cut, being very quiet, but I think that they're saving it for court.
Yeah, that's true. That's the best place to have it, is at court anyway. But when you come into the public, you want to get a public opinion, is what it looks like to me. But they try to crucify him in the public. So they're trying to sway the public to go one way. But, unfortunately, the mainstream media isn't going to tell what we have disclosed down here. So our goal is to try to get it up there. And I think what we're doing is a great job to all the people who really is focusing on R. Kelly and the message and what we are unraveling. This is more important than all the drama anybody can cause or chaos or anything on their platform. This is what I'm here for. This right here makes me feel good. I am so thankful for that you called in to express your concerns and what you have seen. I appreciate you a lot. And I didn't mean to take your mod from you. I just mistaken you for my K Nicole. I thought she put her whole name on there.
I thought that's what it was.
Kimberly Nicole, but the way you called in, girl, you about to get that ranch back. You just keep on keeping on. Because I like educated people. Like my vibe attracts my tribe. And unfortunately, we all have a past that we're not happy with. And some people just unfortunately was poking and they just brought up somebody that I haven't seen in a very long time. But since I've come over here, I'm able to get back to who I am and who I represent. And my consistency is right here. So I'm feeling the love. I'm feeling the intimacy of the chat. I don't care about the numbers. I just care about getting all the information out to the right people who can, potentially help vindicate Rob. That's the only thing I'm here for. I'm not here to make unnecessary friends or unnecessary drama, but I'm definitely here to connect with the right people. And I think right here is where it's at. So I'm very appreciative to you. So you just keep on keeping on, girl. You gonna get that rich back.
All right. Well, you have a great evening
and happy Mother's Day. And happy Mother's Day to you as well. And also happy Nurse Week to you as well. I appreciate that so much because what we do, people do not understand. It's not easy, but we may make it seem like it's easy because we're educated and we was trained to do this. But trust me, we have our good days and we have our bad days. And to see these patients come in with either infected with the corona or even having the symptoms of having the corona, it's not a pleasant sight, and especially having to work, the way we work and the hours that we put in. People just don't understand, but I know you do. So I thank you for that. I salute you and keep up the good work, and God bless you and happy Mother's Day.
Thank you. God bless. Have a good weekend.
You as well. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See, that's a great call. Now, these are the type of people I want to associate to. This is the crowd that I'm attracted to right here. You guys bringing out the best in me, you guys. And it feels so good. So I want all my moderators to just give yourself a round of applause. You guys are phenomenal. You guys do great work. I'm so happy that we've come to the next channel to just get away from all the drama. If we do or go back to the original channels, because there's 2 channels, we just bring this consistency with us. And I'm gonna need you guys to help me stay aligned because I can, unfortunately, I'm flesh, my body is flesh, and everybody knows I'm educated, but they also know I'm ignorant as well. But I don't want to bring out the ignorance. I just want to bring out the best of me. And I just feel really thankful that I am doing what I need to be doing for us to bring this information out to you guys. So with that being said, if you guys don't have any more questions or any other concerns, I just want to thank you guys again. I want you guys to celebrate Mother's Day weekend. And I want you guys to, is it this weekend or is it next weekend? I think it's this weekend because Mother's Day is usually the 12th. So I'm assuming it's this weekend. I could be wrong. I'm so off right now. It's like my clock is just not working right. But definitely happy Nurse Week to all the nurses out there, especially the ones that's on the front line that's really out there having to battle and combat the coronavirus and the patients and the lack of family members able to support them, the ones who are diagnosed with it, who has to go into isolation in the hospital. It's not a pleasant sight. Because they're having literally Ziploc bags to put them in and to go in there with your hazmat suit. I've seen it. It's rough, but I salute to us all because, like I said, it's not an easy job to do. People try to, make it seem like we're better than anyone, but we're not. We're humans, and this is just our choice of careers. And it takes a very special person to do this. Anybody cannot become a nurse. You have to really have the patience, the understanding, not only to deal with your patient, but your patient's families as well, especially the families, because they be the ones. So with that being said, you guys, that's my time. I really do love each and every one of you guys. I'm glad that we're here. We're able to grow together and get back information, and let's get this messages out to the mainstream, and let's continue to unraveling this case as we have, and just doing what we feel we need to do to expose it for what it's worth. We want to see R. Kelly free. So free R. Kelly is all we yelling over here at Team Next. and any other platforms that I'm on. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram. It's at Hollywood Next. It's just Hollywood Next without the T. So Hollywood NEX. And then also I'm on Twitter. I will be tweeting the whole weekend while I'm here in quarantine before I go back to work next week. That's Hollywood Next. And then also Team Next. Make sure you text me on this number 404 618 2442, so I know who you are, because I have officially locked my account out, and I just don't want all the unnecessary drama to come over there, or people watching me to go back and be messy. That's not who I am, but people like mess. I just one of the people who don't care for it. I've outgrown it, and I've put myself in a position to not have to entertain it. So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. Happy Mother's Day from the bottom of my heart. We're still going to do the Cash App giveaway. So if Mother's Day is this Sunday, and forgive me for not knowing if it is, if it ain't, but I think it is. And if it is, I will see you guys on Sunday. And we're going to do a Cash App giveaway. So make sure you have your Cash App set up, because I'm going to pick some lucky ones. I'm going to give $100 Cash App to one of my top supporters. Then I'm going to follow that with the $75 giveaway to one of the second runner-ups. Then I'm going to give a $50 Cash App giveaway to the third runner-up. And then I'm going to give a $25 Cash App giveaway to the fourth runner-up. And it may even go down, or it may go up. You never know when it comes to me. I just love giving, because giving puts joy in my heart. And it's the right thing to do when you're able. You want to give back to those who's out here, whether you're a single mom, if you're a two-parent mom, in a two-parent home. I just want to do something from my heart, what God put on my heart to do for you guys. So let's just see who that lucky people are going to be. So again, I will see you guys back on Sunday. If Mother's Day is this weekend, which I think it is, I need confirmation. I'm going to look it up. And if I'm right, I will see you guys on this Sunday for a Cash App giveaway by yours truly, Hollywood Team Next, Hollywood Next. However you want to say it, it's all love. Follow me also on my original channels, whether you're on Team Next or Hollywood Next, because I'm still posting in the community chats over there, so you can keep up with what's happening when we come over here. Again, I love you guys. I hope you guys have a fabulous Mother's Day weekend. If it's this weekend, am I right or am I wrong? I don't know. Somebody's saying it is. I'm all over the place. I'm telling you, I'll be so discombobulated. Work, the kids, schooling, this virtual stuff. It's just, oh my God. I'm okay with virtual communication, but my children having to have virtual learning is just a little different, because I have to make sure they're getting everything in. They're turning it in. They're doing the work, but then they're not turning it in. So I gotta go over that and do this, do that. I gotta change at the door and get flushed off and stuff. So anyway, we're gonna enjoy this channel over here again. Dear friends, let us love one another, for love comes from God. Everyone who loves has been born of God and knows God. Whoever does not love just doesn't know God, because God is love. I will see you guys on the next pop-up Hollywood Next for Mother's Day Cash App giveaway. So make sure you guys have your Cash Apps, because I will be requesting them as I'm sending the donations to you guys directly. Peace and blessing, and God is love. And remember, free R. Kelly is all we yelling. And again, I truly believe the judge is going to make her ruling Monday of next week. And if we don't hear it Monday, we just have to just be on the countdown until she does it. So whenever she does, I will go live no matter where I am. I'm going to get in here and get you guys that information out. If you don't hear it before, but you'll hear it again. So God bless. I'll see you guys. I love everybody. Put all the love in the air, because you know God is good all the time. All the time. God is good. I love you guys. Happy Mother's Day. See you Sunday. Peace and blessing. Miss T, Patricia, D Slade, K Baby, my sister Pink Lemonade. I see you guys. I love you guys. I see you soon. Peace.